understands the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, the investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and much more. But think about it. What are you really trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P, or is your goal to make memories with your family? At Alpha Wealth Group, their goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group to learn more. You can do it today. Call 630-864-6711. The number again, 630-864-6711. To schedule a no-obligation consultation. You can do it today online as well at alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Huber, co-developer of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Did you know that the 23 natural ingredients in Virago are not only an immune enhancer, but also support and protect your heart, lungs, brain, and kidneys? These organs are negatively affected by numerous diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, and chronic inflammation. The natural ingredients in Virago, such as luteolin and fisetin, protect and improve the cognitive function in your brain. The uracilic acid in Virago protects and improves kidney functions, whereas quercetin protects and improves heart function. These are just a few of the natural ingredients that provide a synergistic effect. Virago, inspiring healthy choices.
Boost your immune system with Virago. Order your bottle of Virago today. Order online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
Sean Thompson here, and I'm with attorney Bert Hochberg from the law firm of Schiller, Ducanto, and Fleck. We're talking about divorce arbitration. This is not really a new, or is it a new, innovative way to go through divorce?
Arbitration has been around for decades. It's completely legit and available to resolve divorce cases. The litigants and their lawyers sign an arbitration agreement. They identify what the issues are, and we set up dates, and we determine what experts and witnesses there may be. Arbitration is a hearing, a trial that is intended to finish a case efficiently with limited appeal, with a binding decision. And it's confidential, so it has some great characteristics.
I think it's a unique alternative to divorce. For more information, please visit sdflaw.com and type Bert Hochberg into the search box. That's sdflaw.com or call direct 773-255-6150.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
Your local State Farm agent Anthony DeGrotto combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. You can combine your home, auto, and life insurance to not only save you money, but give you the peace of mind you've been looking for. Anthony DeGrotto is your go-to agent in Chicagoland. He and his team will work for you to provide the best service you expect at the price you want. Combine your home, auto, and life insurance today. Anthony DeGrotto will help you mix and match things perfectly. His State Farm office is a top pick 2024 Daily Herald Reader's Choice Award winner. He's a proud supporter of Tunnel to Towers and like-minded as you. His State Farm agency is currently looking to add members at their Roselle office. Call Anthony at 847-895-1500 today or visit DeGrottoSF.com. That's DeGrottoSF.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Dreyfus, founder and president of Metropolis Coffee Company and a proud new customer of Signature Bank. We're a 19-year-old specialty coffee roaster located in the heart of Chicago. Some of your favorite restaurants and cafes serve our coffee. As a small business manufacturer, we understand the importance of working with the right bank, and that's why we made the move to Signature Bank. We were tired of the impersonal service that our large bank had provided. A friend referred us to Signature Bank, and their team was on site to understand our operations firsthand. They provided us the working capital to continue our successful business operations and to fuel our ambitions for innovation and growth. We now have the flexibility to grow at our own pace. That personal touch, you can't find that at a large bank, but we found it at Signature, and we can't thank them enough.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Fearless conversations and sharp analysis of the stories that matter. It's the Aaron Mullins Show, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
I do find it a little bit off-putting when someone has a history of calling others out for being complicit via their silence to then occupy that space themselves. The hypocrisy is the issue I have.
The Aaron Mullins Show on the Salem Podcast Network. Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
In a shocking new 5-part series from Kevin Sorbo, Prescription to Kill reveals a lethal FDA cover-up.
Americans have witnessed a dramatic rise in mass killings at a school, a house of worship, a crowded theater, a packed concert, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. But what's behind this sudden surge of lethal violence? One determined researcher cracked open the FDA vault, exposing for the first time secret files linking prescription drugs to mass shootings and infamous murders.
There is a reason that we are the leader in unprovoked mass murder in this country, and it's our over-prescription of psychiatric drugs. There's no doubt about it.
In Prescription to Kill, we investigate the hidden connection between the pharmaceutical industry and America's culture of violence.
What their doctor doesn't know could kill you. Discover the truth that could save many lives. Don't miss Prescription to Kill. Watch it now on salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com.
Don't get stuck with a cold shower this fall. Give CenterGuard Plumbing a call. Get a new 40-gallon water heater installed for just $1,195 for standard installation, or a 50-gallon heater for $1,295 standard installation. A proud new sponsor of AM 560, CenterGuard is offering specials on new water heaters. Don't wait. The cold temperatures are coming, and the same can happen to your water heater. If you're having hot water issues or your water heater's over 8 years old, take advantage of this fall special today. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. They'll even haul away your old one, no charge. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive fall special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be cloudy with a high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover and a high of 54. Moving into Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will have a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. So stop me if you've heard this one. A violent offender with whom police were familiar should have been imprisoned awaiting trial for a crime he allegedly committed, violent crime he allegedly committed, but instead was released and went on to commit an even more horrific crime than he was awaiting trial for having committed. Have you heard this one before in Chicago and Cook County? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line and text line. Chicago police have detained a suspect in connection with the setting of a woman on fire aboard a Blue Line train on Monday night. The suspect's supposed to be wearing an ankle monitor for a pending aggravated battery case in which a Cook County judge refused to keep him in custody. The story of that has made the rounds quickly. It started bubbling up to the surface yesterday during the program. This happened late Monday night. The story initially was that a young woman, 26 years old, I believe, and this guy got into some altercation, but that's not true. There was no argument between the victim and the assailant, according to CWB Chicago. Rather, a source of theirs said the attack appears completely random and unprovoked. Think about that young woman that was stabbed to death on the light rail, the light rail transportation in Charlotte, where a guy just stood over and stabbed her. That captured the attention of the nation because we had video. 26-year-old woman sitting on a train using her phone. Dude walks up, pours liquid from a beverage bottle on her head. The woman ran through the train car, but he caught up with her and set the liquid as well as portions of his own body on fire, according to the source. The woman taken to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. Of course, since we're all innocent bystanders in Chicago, no one on the train stepped in to help after the woman was set on fire. One witness later told police they saw the woman's phone on fire and initially believed it had exploded, causing flames to spread to her. When she was running, probably screaming through the train, and you see somebody following her, giving chase, maybe that's a point at which you step in. Not my problem. Court records show prosecutors asked a Cook County judge to keep the suspect in custody after he was charged with aggravated battery, causing great bodily harm in the suburbs this summer. Oh, in the suburbs. The suburbs aren't insulated. Yeah, just ask that Don Harmon staffer that was robbed at knife point outside of Harmon's Senate President office, the Presidente, in Oak Park earlier this week. As I wondered aloud, will Don Harmon and his staffer be supporting the pretrial release of the guy who robbed his staffer at knife point? Again, judge asked to keep the suspect in custody after he was charged with aggravated battery causing great bodily harm in the suburbs this summer. The judge rejected the request in the judge's infinite wisdom, as most Cook County judges possess infinite wisdom, put him on 24/7 electronic monitoring. Less than 3 weeks later, another judge modified the terms of his monitoring to let him out of the house during daytime hours. The office of Chief Judge, formerly Timothy Evans, operates electronic monitoring that he was supposed to keep track of him, and no names have been released, at least so far. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I was having dinner with a friend of mine yesterday who has a relative who's on the force, and he saw there's some apparently video evidence of this crime, and my friend's police officer family member said I had to walk out of the room. He also said, sorry, Illinois taxpayers, since you just bailed out the CTA, I'm sure many of you weren't excited about that, but that's what we did as a collective because of who we decided to send to Springfield and who we decided to put in the governor's mansion and who we decided to put in the mayor's office. So, but anyway, this police officer, there is no reason to ride the CTA if you don't have to. This was Blue Line. Yesterday, there was a story, Green Line. Green Line robbery alert. CPD issues second Green Line robbery alert in 2 days. I mean, honestly, particularly if you're a woman. I mean, I pay the extra money to take Uber or carpool or whatever. Find another mode of transportation. It's not worth it because of what has become of Chicago and, by extension, its government transit systems. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Honestly. Oh, I know. What we just need is another Brandon Johnson executive order. Remember all those complaints about people smoking dope and vaping and stuff? 14,000 complaints about smoking on the L. He issues an executive order. Okay, well, that problem's solved. You're going to throw some violence interrupters on a platform here and there on CTA. Oh, that's resolved. We're down 2,000 officers. So there's not sort of quote unquote beat coverage. I mean, honestly, I'm not even sure this crime, as horrific as you can envision it was, will register without the video. And even if we had the video, it would be treated the same way that murder of that young Ukrainian refugee was treated. Horror, disgust. Moving on. That's just what big city living. Desensitized to the murder and barbarism and mayhem and chaos of the people that the people chose to elevate to leadership positions. What else can one say about it? Interesting just point of order in terms of people responding to incentives. Even people who are habitual violent offenders. There's a book entitled Revolution in Criminal Justice. And the author, looking at some of the scholarship on the topic of reducing recidivism. I mean, in addition to programs like I always mention Hope for Prisoners and other programs for ex-cons that are rigorous, really run the traps, that are comprehensive and have shown great success at reducing recidivism for people that we know, are coming out, much more so than just what the state programs normally produce, which is a high incidence of recidivism. I mean, again, just to give you an example that some of these programs can be a huge value add, and you have to really investigate who's the real deal and who isn't. But John Ponder's Hope for Prisoners program, and this is why President Trump recognized him in his first term. Recidivism rate for those who go through his program in Clark County, Nevada is under 10%. Recidivism rate, generally speaking, in the, I think it's the state prison system in Nevada, but this is sort of generally speaking, is usually between 60 and 80%. It's a big difference. Anyway, Revolution in Criminal Justice. We found that adding anyone charged with a felony to the law enforcement DNA database in Denmark reduced future criminal convictions by more than 40%. Again, people responded to the higher probability of getting caught by committing fewer crimes. Being added to the database also increased enrollment in school and rates of employment, signs that folks were really on a better path. The effect was largest for the youngest men, those aged 18 to 24, which, of course, that cohort of young men are responsible for a preponderance of the crime in the Western world, everywhere, actually. So there are things that you can do, in terms of the incentives you present within the system writ large. But no matter what you do, if you have pretrial release for repeat violent offenders, as Illinois does, if you have ineffective and incompetent monitoring of people on pretrial release, which compounds the pretrial release for violent offenders, as Cook County and Illinois does, and if you have prosecutors like Eric Reinhardt in Lake County, Kim Fox, formerly of Cook County, the jury's still out on Eileen Burke, as far as I'm concerned. And Cook County judges, like the judge in this case, well, then you're just turning over the streets to a might makes right state of nature. Then you're going to see people being maimed and murdered with impunity, like you see in Chicago. Coming up at 5:38, we'll fold in another rather jarring crime, I think, to some, to the extent that Chicago still has the ability to be jarred by crime. That's 5:38. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 42 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. A person of interest is in custody following an incident on CTA's Blue Line Monday night. According to reports, a 26-year-old woman got into a verbal altercation with a male. That man then poured a liquid over her and set her on fire. The victim was transported to the hospital for treatment. Police say the investigation is continuing. The so-called serial puncher has been sentenced to 7 years in prison. The sentence was handed down after 37-year-old Derek Rucker pleaded guilty to aggravated battery of a transit employee, aggravated battery in a public space, and aggravated battery of a peace officer. Rucker was arrested after punching a 44-year-old woman last month. Rucker has a long rap sheet with a record dating back to 2006. Several major websites were disrupted for several hours yesterday morning following an outage of Chicago-based Cloudflare. Officials say that they noticed a spike in unusual site traffic just before 5:30 Tuesday morning. This news report is a service of Mattress Firm. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 26th on their The Ghost of Christmas Eve 2025 tour. Enter to win tickets and the grand prize of a 75-inch TV, a home stereo system, and a $1,000 gift card. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/TSO.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that they are making it through. They want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows for only $14.98. It gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more, or multi-use pillows for only $9.98. Get body pillows for $29.98 with a free pillowcase. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98. Kings only $1 more. That's 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. Order $100 or more and your order ships absolutely free. We know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they are extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026.
Rick Borick talks about the risk of being in the stock market right near retirement.
It's easy to drive around with no seatbelt on if you never think you're going to have an accident, right? And you go, well, it's never going to go down. I don't need protection for my portfolio. We're a big fan of getting those gains, but we're also a bigger fan of not taking huge losses.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Do the holiday parties, tailgating, and family get-togethers have your liver working overtime? Let Active Liver help give your liver some relief at Amazon or VitaCost.com, CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Today will be cloudy with a high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover with a high of 54. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will feature a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft discussing a couple of rather startling crimes that occurred over the last 36 hours. 26-year-old woman riding on the Blue Line, minding her own business, we now understand from the reporting by CWB Chicago. Habitual violent offender, we now understand, pours flammable liquid on her head. She runs, chases him, he chases her through the train, and lights her on fire. And him, apparently, a little bit as well. And she's in critical condition at Stroger. Text from Amish texter. Is it time for another 450-pound fat boy walk on the lakefront with Marianne Ahern? Yeah, I think it is. Where he can explain to us, just like BLM Brandon does, that they know what to do. They're doing it, and it's working. Crime is at 30-year lows. What are you talking about? These are people that are manufacturing a crisis. People like me who talk about crime, even though then this week, in defense of his $600 million worth of tax increases, BLM Brandon was talking about reducing violent crime and so on and so forth. So sometimes, according to them, we've got a violent crime problem, and other times we don't. It just depends on what interest they need to serve in the moment. I get it. And Jelly Belly Pritzker will tell you the same thing, which is why we don't need no federal law enforcement support here. We got this. JB and BJ got this. So let's fold in the other jarring crime that is making the rounds. In part because there's video. In part because the nature of the assailants. The community is outraged after an attack on a mother and her two children outside an elementary school in the South Deering neighborhood on the far south side of Chicago. 33-year-old mom walking with two kids, one 9-year-old boy, and they're descended upon by a group of, it looked to me from the video like elementary school kids. And apparently, according to the reporting, this woman's 9-year-old son has been the subject of some alleged bullying at school. This is outside, and then so now there was this big community gathering around Orville Bright Elementary School in the South Deering neighborhood to wring their hands and express outrage, do all the performative things you're supposed to do after something like this happens. I'm waiting for the T-shirts. You know, you got to merchandise these things too. Maybe candlelight vigil. Who's up for a candlelight vigil? Raise your hand. ABC 7 reporting.
As a 33-year-old mother was walking home with her children, including her 9-year-old son, who relatives say has long been the victim of bullying. Video shared tens of thousands of times on Facebook shows a woman being punched before the assault turns even more violent. We blurred the faces of those involved because they're minors, and no charges have been filed. We've frozen the video here because it's so graphic.
We've frozen it, so it's too graphic for you to watch. It isn't. I despise that. And I hope somebody gets the video, because if somebody could give me the raw video, I'll post it. People should see it. People should see the depths to which Chicago has descended, so that they give no quarter to the quotidian comments from politicians and parents alike after something like this. Speaking of which, Brandon Johnson.
By far the most difficult video that I've ever watched. The pain and the suffering that that family endured was quite horrific. Of course, we want to make sure that there's accountability, but there's also something very disturbing about children carrying out such a violent act. There's clearly a need for some intervention there as well.
Social workers to the rescue, right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. And then you have this customary exclamation from a member of the community.
That's crazy. Kids is fighting adults. Where's the parents at? Why are they being accountable for it?
Really? You really don't know where the parents are at? So we're not going to be honest about this? Still, we can't bring ourselves. Where are the parents? You know where they're at. Where are the parents at? Where's the accountability? You know where the accountability is at. Don't you? By the way, this is not just a Chicago problem. Of course it's not. Nobody's ever suggested it is, but that will be one of the immediate rationalizations. It's a larger societal problem and so on and so forth. And it is, to a certain extent. For example, on Wednesday, Ohio prosecutors are said they're charging a 10-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy for raping and trying to kill a 5-year-old girl last month. We actually brought you this story, pulling out her hair, and I mean it's an unbelievably brutal crime. And yes, it is beyond disturbing. 10-year-old girl, 9-year-old boy charged with raping and trying to kill a 5-year-old girl. In Volusia County, Georgia, an 11-year-old was arrested with a kill list for kids and ostensibly adults in his school. I mean, and there was a significant amount of evidence. He's facing felony charges of making a written threat to kill. So, yeah, there's a larger cultural problem here. But where are the parents? This demands accountability. Those words have become completely empty. They have been emptied of all meaning because of overuse and misapplication. That's just things that you say because you don't know what to say short of the truth. Isn't it? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Matt.
Good morning, Dan. This is sad, but generational welfare has created generations of feral children who are born to young girls, teenagers, that have no control over themselves, let alone the children they bear. Just yesterday, when this story came out, my wife's a nurse at a large university hospital. 14-year-old girl came in having given birth to a child. And it's so sad. They've had 11-year-old girls, 12, 13. These are children having children, and there's nobody there with these little kids while they're giving birth. Or if there are, it's an aunt, it's a grandmother. It's not their mothers, and it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And the truth is, the welfare state has created this monster. And those kids on that video, I saw the video, they're little kids. You know, there is accountability. What a joke. Hold the politicians who created this monster accountable. Have a good day, Dan.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I mean, they were like something out of Clockwork Orange as they attack that woman and her kid. You really should see the video if you haven't. Somebody texted, 815 texted that it's on X. I've seen a portion of it, but the redacted portion, I want to see the whole thing. I can stomach it. Thank you, ABC News, though, for your concern about my fortitude. I appreciate it. I'm an adult. I can take it. And, in fact, it should be required viewing, actually. It should be played in the schools. Maybe you can horrify some people straight. Mike in Union.
Hey, Dan, I think the answer is more signage, like safe space or, things of that nature. I think it'll solve everything. Some more cliches, it'll solve all the problems.
Yeah. We need some more refrigerator magnet aphorisms. Maybe, in addition to Cadillac-Ville, maybe we do like a anti-violence quilt. Make that a community project. In other related law enforcement news, on the positive side, you'll be happy to hear the would-be Big Gulp assassin of former Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx has been convicted. The Big Gulp guy is off the streets. The guy that sets a woman on fire on the Blue Line, not off the streets. The guy who tossed a drink in the direction of Kim Foxx because she was walking down the middle of the street in Flossmoor, apparently. And I'm not defending what he did. Obviously, that was inappropriate. But he's off the streets. Our long citywide nightmare of this South Suburban honky. Rest easy tonight in Cook County because William Sweats has been convicted of one felony count of aggravated battery because he threw a big gulp in the direction of Kim Foxx. And I believe, if I'm recounting the facts of the story, because this was difficult. Thank God there was no video, because this I could not endure. I believe a little bit of the root beer made its way into Kim Foxx's mouth, she alleged. And I'm probably still traumatized. Between her husband, who is addicted to video games, and now the Big Gulp incident, she's really had to endure a lot over the last several years as 8 years, really, as the Cook County prosecutor. And what a legacy she left. She was, there's the story here, too, just to refresh everybody's recollection. Was walking on the edge of a roadway on her usual morning walk. It doesn't look like a walker to me. Anyway, Sweats allegedly said, "Get off the road, biatch," and she responded by flipping him off. He drove a short distance, threw his truck in reverse, zigzagging toward her, and they exchanged words, and then he hurled the contents of a big gulp in the direction of the esteemed former Cook County State's Attorney. During opening statements, Assistant Attorney General, who they brought in the big guns for the Big Gulp case, Assistant Attorney General Susan Collins said that Sweats used his pickup truck and a full cup of soda pop for exacting revenge on Miss Foxx. So this guy is a convicted felon. I can't wait for sentencing to see what this guy gets and do a little comparison contrast between this guy and the repeat violent offenders with rap sheets as long as my arm, and what it takes for them to even be detained pre-trial for their latest offense, much less sentenced to any real time in prison. But thank goodness that Tony Preckwinkle has made it her raison d'etre to reduce the population of Cook County Jail so she can make room for the real threats to public safety like William Sweats and his weapon of choice, the Big Gulp. A related story, since we've been talking about property taxes, since the people are a little exercised about the property taxes, particularly in majority black neighborhoods in Chicago that are being hit the hardest. We talked quite a bit about this the last 2 days, right? 80% in Inglewood, 100% in North Lawndale, 130% in Garfield Park. Black neighborhoods hit the hardest. Have to bail out the flagging tax revenues from the Loop. Yeah, well, it turns out that what we've been talking about when it comes to public safety has been a nagging problem in Chicago and Illinois for some time, which is, sort of marked by the fact that we've led the nation in homicides 14 years in a row. We've led the nation in out-migration for more than the last decade. Business activity in Chicago area declined again in October of this year, extending the decline to 23 consecutive months. The last month that the Chicago Business Barometer registered expansion was November of 2023. Before that, Chicago had another 14 months of decline beginning in September of 2022. So Chicago's business footprint continues to contract. I know. I got JB and BJ know what to do. They're doing it, and it's working. And if Trump would just stop meddling, then this place would be Xanadu. I understand completely. I guess we just have different definitions of the attributes of Xanadu. Matt's outside.
Hey, Dan, once Kim Fox decided to respond to that guy by yelling back at him, didn't that become mutual combat?
Yes, right. By the Kim Fox standard for mutual combat. Thanks for the call, Matt. Yeah, I think when she gave him the bird, if somebody gives you the bird is throwing a big gulp, a proportional response. I mean, this is something that legal scholars have debated going back to Blackstone. Could the leadership of Chicago be less serious? Is it possible to have fewer adults in charge of a major metropolitan region than Chicago features? Those are rhetorical questions, by the way. Phil in Maryville.
Morning. Nothing's changing with Democrats in control. All the criminals will be let out of jail that should be in there longer. There'll be other criminals that should be in jail longer, and they don't even sentence them. And all the people in Chicago continue to vote for the same thing. Nothing's changing, and I'm really even getting sick of hearing about it. It's like nothing will change over there, and that's part of the reason why I moved to Indiana. You do that in Indiana over here, you're going to jail instantly, and you're staying in there. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Phil. Well, again, as we talked about yesterday, when you've got black residents in those majority black neighborhoods I mentioned lighting their property tax bills on fire, that is what opportunity looks like for commonsensical people to try to align with commonsensical people, even if it's on a single issue or just a couple of issues. Opportunity. Will anyone try to seize that opportunity? So change will happen. I mean, things can change for the worse, which they continue to do, or they can change for the better, which is possible if you don't just completely throw up your hands as your opening bid. Glenn in Orlando.
Yeah, hey, Dan. So the guy that threw the Subway sandwich at the ICE agent was found not guilty. So the moral of the story is don't throw the soft drink, throw the Subway sandwich.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Glenn. Right. I mean, that's why they do the combo. That you get a reduced price on that combo. They throw in like a medium-sized drink so that is something you retain, and you always have the option to, not to mention if you get the foot long, then you can have 6 inches and, use the other 6 inches to lodge a grievance. Yeah. Don't throw the big gulp or the drink. Throw the sandwich. Right. It's the real moral of the story here. Orlando, North Side.
Good morning, Dan. I know you're saying that
taxes went up in Inglewood 100% and West Garfield 128%. But 100% of what? Was it $2,000 and it went to $4,000 when people in Lincoln Park are paying $15,000 and Brookfield paying $18,000 for property taxes and getting the same results? I mean,
well, I hear you, but I mean, it's just I mean, and I've been talking about hard caps like Indiana or even more aggressive measures for decades, but I mean, there is a thing about property value. So it's a percentage. You have to look at this as a percentage of property value. And frankly, like I mentioned, Brandon Johnson's home in Austin, at $170,000, his property taxes went up 37% to $4,000. But $4,000 in property taxes on a $170,000 home is 2.3% of home value, which is more than twice the national average. So, I mean, that is those are confiscatory property taxes. I don't feel for Brandon Johnson because he's part of the problem. But what I'm saying is that you're effectively, as we've talked about in the South Suburbs, we talked about some of these neighborhoods in Chicago, too, as we're mentioning. I mean, the real value of those properties is basically nothing. And when you go from $2,000 to say $3,000 on a home that's got a valuation of $150,000, I mean, that first of all, it's tough for the resident who actually bought the home and is trying to do the right thing and play by the rules and build some equity and build some wealth, household wealth. And secondly, it just destroys the value that much further, as if those neighborhoods didn't have enough problems. So, I mean, I don't want to be completely unsympathetic to them either. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. It's just it's not fair. It hasn't been fair for 20 years, and those neighborhoods haven't changed. And the leaders, haven't done anything about it either. I'm talking about your Reverend Jesse Jackson and your, people like that. That they haven't stepped up.
Yeah, I hear you. Thanks for the call, Orlando. That's why I'm saying it's an opportunity to those families in North Lawndale burning their property tax bills. If I was running for office, I want to go talk to them. I want to go hang out with them, say, welcome to what we've been saying for generations. Nobody escapes it. Nobody escapes this Borg. Your house will be assimilated by the property tax classification system in Illinois because it's collateral for somebody else's government pension that they cannot finance at the benefit levels they've conferred. So it's going to happen. Now that it's happening to you, how about you ally with me and we go change out some of that leadership? What do you think? It's a pretty straightforward proposition. Tim in Woodstock.
Hi, good morning, Dan. Just to the woman's comment, her question about where were the parents when this happened, I think these people are having trouble connecting the dots. Brandon Johnson has made it clear that government is the solution, and the dignity of taking care of your own children and providing for your family has been replaced. It's been taken away from you. And how are you going to get that back now? So it's kind of a silly question to ask where the parents are right now. And how is Brandon Johnson supposed to do that? How is he supposed to have government take care of you without confiscating more of your money? So they have to start connecting the dots there.
Thanks for the call, Tim. Dan Propp, Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire? Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. To make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence. Learn principles of income planning. There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring. Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 7:07. Guess who's the featured speaker at the upcoming CARE banquet? Like Council on American Islamic Relations, that CARE. You'll find out at 6:06. We'll discuss. It is now 6 a.m. on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
President Trump could sign the Epstein Files resolution as soon as today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This isn't a Democrat, it isn't a Republican issue. This is an American integrity issue of bringing to light what it was a massive cover-up.
That's what GOP Congressman Ralph Norman just told Fox the morning after the House approved the resolution compelling the Justice Department to release files from the investigation into the late Jeffrey Epstein's underage girl sex trafficking. Now, this morning it goes to the Senate, which already approved it by unanimous consent. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says,
we have to make sure that all of the documents are released. That there are no games, that we know there's a corrupt Justice Department.
Now, the president says he'll sign it after initially opposing the resolution as a hoax, adding he had nothing to do with Epstein, but some Democrats did.
They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did.
Now, the president said that sitting next to the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally.
Approving a Saudi purchase of American fighter jets. And today the two will meet with business leaders, with the Saudis planning to invest as much as $1 trillion into the U.S. Hours before Ukraine's president went to Turkey trying to build more support to stop Russia's war. A deadly Russian barrage of drones and missiles. That's in Kharkiv. In another city, apartment buildings were hit, killing at least 19 people, 66 others injured. Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott plans to take his state's congressional redistricting aimed at giving the GOP more seats in the House to the Supreme Court, calling a decision by a panel of federal judges to block it absurd. Fox's Aisha Hasni reports.
Judge Jeffrey Brown, who actually was nominated by President Trump, authored this decision and said that the new maps would harm Black and Hispanic voters. The Texas redrawing set off a nationwide redistricting battle, with California passing a ballot measure to give Democrats more seats.
Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom posted on X that President Trump and Governor Abbott played with fire and got burned. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 41 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Legal action continues playing out in Chicago over an embattled ICE processing facility. Fox's Jeff Manasso reports.
In federal court here in Chicago, a judge hearing both sides of an argument of alleged inhumane conditions at an ICE processing center in Broadview, setting a preliminary hearing for next month on a temporary restraining order that the Department of Homeland Security immediately improve conditions there. This after another federal judge approves class action status in a lawsuit brought by detainees alleging lack of showers, limited food and water, and no access to attorneys. In Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Digital driver's licenses are coming to Illinois. Secretary of State Alexei Giannalis has announced that residents with iPhones will soon be able to download their state driver's license or ID down to their Apple Wallet. The new program is expected to roll out today at 7 a.m. And while only Apple iPhone users will have access initially, the plan is to have the service available to Samsung and Google phones next year. Officials say the digital IDs will be accepted by restaurants, bars, and even TSA, although you are advised to have a hard copy of your real ID when you're flying. The Illinois House has voted to reprimand Representative Jesus Chuy Garcia for failing to announce his intent to not seek re-election until the 11th hour. That's a move that could be construed as clearing a path for his chief of staff to run unopposed for the Democratic nomination. Representative Garcia says his decision to pull his petition to run at the last minute came following discussions with his cardiologist and his wife and had nothing to do with his chief of staff. This report is a service of Fox Valley Coins. Bring your gold or silver in store today. Each item is priced right in front of you. The coins never leave your sight. Receive cash or a check right on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt breaks down the latest Epstein files.
I've looked at the emails they released today. They do not do anything to implicate Donald Trump. In fact, they exonerate Donald Trump. There's no proof, but there were lawsuits, many lawsuits by many plaintiffs' lawyers that would have loved to have sued Donald Trump. There's no there. And they're talking about it because they don't have any ideas, and Obamacare is a complete and total failure.
The Hugh Hewitt Show, afternoons at 2, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
If you are 65 or older, you know this, inflation is hitting everyone hard right now, especially when it comes to healthcare. Over the last 10 years, healthcare costs have skyrocketed by, get this, 230%. If you have Medicare Parts A and B, you know there are still out-of-pocket expenses like deductibles and co-payments, and they really add up. But here's some good news. MediShare 65 Plus is designed to fill in those gaps and help protect you from rising healthcare costs. At only $99 per month up to age 75, you get peace of mind at a price you can afford. And MediShare is trusted, too. It's been around 30 years. It's not some big impersonal thing. It's a community of people helping each other, business owners, pastors, retirees. People love it. MediShare 65 Plus just makes sense. To learn more, give them a call. They're great to talk to. They'll offer to pray with you each time you call, too. Call now. 855-PSALM-32. That's 855-PSALM-32. 855-PSALM-32.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Imagine spending your holiday season with family, not IT headaches from work. With managed IT help desk services by Access One, you get 24/7 expert support, an IT team that never takes time off, for roughly the same cost or less than one IT person. Access One's IT help desk is a local center here in Chicago, ready to help 365 days a year, so you have less IT downtime and no IT staffing issues. You deserve to enjoy your holiday season with family, eating home-cooked meals, not getting interrupted with IT issues. Access One can give you peace of mind during the holidays. It's a gift to yourself and your company. To speak with an Access One agent, call 800-654-1555. Access One is now offering a 90-day risk-free trial so you can discover how they fix IT for good. Learn more at accessoneinc.com/guarantee. IT support tickets piling up? Not anymore. Hand off your help desk to Access One. accessoneinc.com.
Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
Good morning. It is 41 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Legal action continues playing out in Chicago over an
Taking a look at the
embattled
roads from the Team Hawkbrook Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Starting off good on the Eden. It's 14 minutes both ways from Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne Interchange also looks to be in good shape. 17 minutes inbound. Outbound is 21. Slow on the northbound Tri-State from the tollway all the way to the Eisenhower. And then on the Eisenhower inbound from Wolf to the Old Post Office is 15 minutes. Outbound is 14. The inbound Stevenson a little bit slow from the Tri-State to Lakeshore, 24 minutes. Outbound is 15. The Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne Interchange is 15. Outbound is 10. The express lanes on the inbound Dan Ryan slow down from 35th Street to the Stevenson. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be cloudy with a high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover with a high of 54. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will feature a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. I want to get to the EO issued by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the big care banquet. Get your tickets coming to Chicago. But John Anthony just sent me video of one of the kids allegedly that was involved in attacking that mom and her kids. The video that's gone viral outside of that Southside Elementary School. So I want you to hear it because mom actually put this girl, her ostensibly her daughter, up to offering this message on Facebook. Get your reaction.
Say anything, keep it respectful. This is the child.
Hey. My name is Kamira Grant, and I was wrong for everything.
It's okay, Kamira.
Okay. This young girl is, crying and saying she was wrong. That good enough? She's a child. Keep it respectful. Actually, Mom, I'd kind of like to hear from you. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you kind of like to hear from the mom on this? I mean, it's nice that you have the video of the kid expressing some remorse. I want to hear what you think, Mom. Why would your daughter participate in something as brutal as that? And I see the whole video now. That's not frozen to protect my delicate sensibilities. Thank you so much, Chicago Political Press Corps. They're not protecting my delicate sensibilities or anybody else's. They're protecting the political ruling class. Don't show them how barbaric Chicago has become. That's what they're actually doing. We'll tease you with the salacious, but we won't show you everything. Mom, what do you have to say? What about the other moms and dads or guardians, whatever the case may be? I mean, it's more than anybody else has done, so far as I know. So okay, but any of the parents in those communities concerned that they've got a bunch of Leopolds and Lobes running around at the outside the elementary school? I mean, you see this video, and the mom who was attacked, and is literally hugging her 9-year-old son, who's like gripping onto her, as these droogs, Clockwork Orange reference, droogs surround them in a semicircle. She's up against a fence. And then one after the other, they take wild swings at her, hitting her in some instances, until they're able to grab hold and push them to the ground on the other side of the sidewalk. And then they take turns running at them while they're on the ground and kicking them or otherwise flailing, throwing flailing punches at them. I mean, the waterworks are not going to do it for me. I want a little bit more. Develop this for me. Tell me what's going on, Mom. Any dads around? Tell me what's going on. Again, I'm happy she stepped up and she put her daughter through the motions of that. But I don't think that's going to be enough. It shouldn't be. And it also shouldn't be enough for her to avoid criminal charges, which all of the kids involved should be facing. Text from 207. 30 years ago, the Tribune ran a series on the underclass. Children having children as a way of life, as a generational lifestyle. Sadly, nothing has changed, and it's not just Chicago. As a treasure of a charitable society, the second oldest of its nature in the country, I see it often in mid-coast Maine, even. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Daniel Patrick Moynihan wrote this seminal report in the late 60s about the disintegration of the black family. I mean, we've been talking about this for 50 years, and now it was what I think probably recognized most immediately in the black families in this country. But now, of course, because it's cultural and because people respond to incentives, I mean, it's not limited to the black family. This transcends race. It's just a matter of degree to which it's occurring. The disintegration of the family I'm talking about. And we know this from the percentage of out-of-wedlock births. Whites, Latinos, blacks. And interestingly, those numbers are much lower in communities as an ethnic demographic that are much more financially successful, like Asians. Again, this isn't about pitting one race against the other. This is talking about government incentives, cultural values, the approach you take to family, the approach you take to education, which is in part the approach you take, which is sort of an offshoot of the approach you take towards family. And, you know, what happened yesterday is not going to, usher in this sort of system-wide change or examination of cultural mores that is required, social and cultural mores that's required. But it's going to be painstaking. We're a long way from where we were when this problem was first identified. We've allowed it to metastasize. So, of course, the treatment for this disease is going to be that much more painful than if we would have addressed it when we first saw the symptoms. We didn't do that. So here we are. Dan Proft, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
This is Jerry Boyer for Townhall.com. Microsoft just made a quiet but meaningful shift, and it happened because someone showed up. For years, pregnancy centers were excluded from Microsoft's nonprofit discount program. Planned Parenthood qualified, but pro-life centers that offer ultrasounds, prenatal care, and postnatal support, they were boxed out. So we filed a shareholder proposal in conjunction with financial advisor Patron Partners. Not to grandstand, but to engage. We and Alliance Defending Freedom sat down with Microsoft, explaining the inconsistency and asked for fairness. And they listened. Microsoft removed the discriminatory requirement. That's a win, not just for pro-life pregnancy centers, but for the principle of viewpoint neutrality. Your investments are a voice. Use them. Don't let your dollars be weaponized against your values. I'm Jerry Boyer.
By the way, the report I was referring to, I mean, just if you'd like to go back and peruse it to see how much and how little we've done in 60 years. 1965 report by Daniel Patrick Moynihan, of course, Democrat senator from New York State. It's commonly known as the Moynihan Report, the official title in 1965, The Negro Family, the Case for National Action. It was a report on black poverty. Moynihan argued the rise in black single-mother families was caused not by a lack of jobs for men, but by a destructive vein in urban culture, which could be traced back to the slavery area and the racial discrimination in the South under Jim Crow laws and so forth, and he built from there. But as the scholarship of Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams, so many others will tell you, even, and Bob Woodson likes to say, when whites were at their worst, blacks were at their best. Even under these egregious laws, this discriminatory laws like Jim Crow, in many respects, the black family did better. And this is not obviously arguing for Jim Crow, as the left will try to bastardize and misinterpret this. It's saying the opposite. Saying that the good intentions, the fateful good intentions of the white left, as manifested in government policies, as most notably, as someone said, the welfare state. Catastrophe. Absolute catastrophe. So, here we are. Think about those things when you watch the images like that attack on that woman and her child on the south side of Chicago. All right, I want to take a moment to talk about my friends at QC Kinetics. They're helping so many listeners regain their mobility free from joint pain. Does this sound like you, a person with joint pain, where every time you move, it's a reminder of what hurts, a reminder of how far you've drifted from the life you once had? Relief is closer than you think. It doesn't have to come from surgery. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli and her team tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue. Reduce inflation, reduce inflammation, that is, and maybe inflation. Reduce prices. Reduce inflammation and relieve pain at its source. Stop masking the pain. Let QC Kinetics help you regain what pain took away. And with the Veterans Day just having passed, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment for every non-veteran who starts care. QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. It's a great time to book your free consultation to learn how QC Kinetics can help you. Call 312-827-6261 to do that. That number again, 312-827-6261. Once more, 312-827-6261, and tell them I sent you when you call.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are high interest payments becoming too much to bear? Luckily, there's a way for consumers struggling with over $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans to significantly reduce the amount they owe if they qualify. Qualifying for this debt relief program, which the credit card companies prefer to keep secret, will only require you to pay back a fraction of what you owe with one affordable monthly payment. You don't have to file bankruptcy or need a debt consolidation loan. Consumers can now take advantage of this financial debt relief during the current economic downturn and rising inflation. If you owe $10,000 or even $500,000 in credit card debt or personal loans, call the Debt Relief Advocates Helpline now for this free information and to see if you qualify. Call 800-466-4131. 800-466-4131. Again, that's 800-466-4131.
AM 560. The Answer.
Margot in Burr Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Great discussion, about the fall of the black family. But Daniel Patrick Moynihan lists the main deterrent to blacks assimilating from slavery into the general economy, and that would be the creation of the minimum wage. So in 1909, the blacks were trying to come off of the plantations and get, jobs and regular jobs. They didn't want to be working on the plantations anymore. And firemen working on the railroad, the guys shoveling the coal into the engines, were afraid that the blacks were going to get their jobs because, they didn't require a lot of education. They just needed to be strong and all that. So they formed a union, and they came up with the idea of a minimum wage and got it passed. And, of course, they passed the wage that was their wage because the blacks were willing to work for half or less of what they made. So since the blacks were cut out of the workplace by the high minimum wage, they didn't get hired. It basically killed their opportunity for economic advancement. And that was the single biggest thing to keep them from advancing in society. And we still do it today, but of course Teddy Kennedy has made everybody think that it's some kind of a living wage. That was the reason. It was not the reason. And my source is John Silber. It was in his book.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for the call, Margot. I mean, part of the problem, too, is you don't have any leftist, liberal. That's what Daniel Patrick Moynihan was. He was liberal in the modern context, not a classical liberal, but a liberal, meaning like a John Kenneth Galbraith, somebody that would be opposite Bill Buckley on a firing line. But who isn't? There are intellectuals on the left, although they don't come to mind. I got to tell you. But what passes for them today is such a watered down version of what they had in the Buckley era. But that's it. And forget the Senate. Who is the Democrat Party's Daniel Patrick Moynihan today? Well, obviously that person doesn't exist. Daniel Patrick Moynihan was a liberal intellectual. He was somebody who had read books. He had thought about big societal problems. He had enlisted people to help him think about these things and analyze these things and cobble together reports to try to drive policy discussion. Where does that happen today? Most of these members of Congress, as far as I can tell, are barely literate. And yet, we're treated instead to pep rallies and mascots. It is so superficial. It is so disingenuous. It is so patronizing. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. At a recent Forbes conference, Van Jones, professional Obama suck toy, was talking about what the AI revolution will mean for black Americans. And this is what he said.
To go to the brother's point, the reason I was about to jump out my chair and hug this brother is because who are the most innovative people in the history of the world? That's right. Mm-hmm. We are the most innovative, the most creative. We have done so much for so long with so little, we can damn near do anything with nothing. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to give us the most powerful creative tools ever and expect us to lose? No, not at all. The reality is we are most likely to dominate.
Well, anything's possible. But you look at the academic numbers coming out of big urban school districts where a majority of black families send their kids. You look at incarceration rates. Nearly 1 in 3 black men in America has a felony conviction. I mean, do you want to have an honest conversation about it, or do you want to just have a pep rally? That doesn't mean there aren't, brilliant black businessmen and wildly talented and creative black artists and entrepreneurs who will take the AI revolution and win, as will many others from many different walks of life. The idea that that Black America, which, as my friend Robert Blackwell is always lamenting, has the lowest, by far, collective net worth of any racial group in the country. The idea that that 40 million black Americans are poised to win with the AI revolution. Coming up at 6:36, turn our attention to that matter I keep teasing, the confrontation between Muslims and Christians of sorts in Dearborn, and the executive order that Governor Abbott issued in the direction of Muslims. That's at 6:36. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 40 degrees in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Chicago police, performing an investigatory stop, ended up shooting a man. According to reports, that incident began just before noon yesterday when officers performing the stop noticed the man had a gun in his possession. The suspect failed to comply with officers' commands to drop the weapon and began to flee. The officer shot the suspect, causing a grazing wound to his abdomen and arm. The officer has been placed on administrative duty for the next 30 days. The incident is being investigated by the Chicago Police Investigative Response Team as well as the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. The designated protest area has been expanded in Broadview. Officials say protesters will now be able to gather on Beach Street, which will be closed, allowing for a safer environment. A designated vehicle traffic zone has been established on the south side of the protest zone, allowing access to local businesses on Beach Street south of Lexington. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again, not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 26th on their The Ghost of Christmas Eve 2025 tour. Enter to win tickets and the grand prize of a 75-inch TV, a home stereo system, and a $1,000 gift card. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/TSO.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join Medi-Share and save even more than usual. For many families, joining Medi-Share means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. But what's more, Medi-Share members like it. We know this from member surveys. They like it a lot. It's a proven thing now. Medi-Share has been around for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing, too. If you join before November 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they will waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. Again, the deadline is November 30th, so call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Are you prepared for the Illinois estate tax? If your estate is worth over $4 million, your heirs could face a tax bill of up to 16% when you pass. Financial advisor Scott Tucker and the team at Scott Tucker Solutions can show you ways to potentially reduce or even eliminate that burden. One strategy is to start gifting assets during your lifetime to lower the taxable value of your estate. Another option is setting up irrevocable trusts, which can shield wealth from estate taxes. Charitable donations and life insurance policies can also be smart tools to offset tax liabilities. Call Scott Tucker and the Scott Tucker Solutions team now, 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. That's 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay, because whatever it is, it's on eBay, and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Look at the roads from the Team Hackberg Traffic Center. I'm Sue Aller. Still in great shape on the Eden inbound from Lake Cook to Montrose, 15 minutes. Outbound is 13. Not too bad on the Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne Interchange, 20 minutes. Outbound is 22. You are slow on the express lanes inbound between Chicago Avenue and Ohio Street. The northbound Tri-State slows down between the Tollway and the Eisenhower. The inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office is 19. Outbound is 14. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 26. Outbound is 16. The Dan Ryan from 95th Street to the Byrne Interchange is 19 minutes. Outbound is 11. And the express lanes inbound slow down between Pershing Road and the Stevenson. This report is a service of Blindster.com. What if they can guarantee the price of Bitcoin will be $1 million in 2030? Well, they can't. But they can guarantee you will save a lot of money on blinds at their company. Blindster.com. Free samples, free shipping, and guaranteed to fit. Shop at Blindster.com today. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. But now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be cloudy with the high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover and a high of 54. Moving into Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will have a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, I got a delay on our care story one more time because the social media postings in reaction to the video that has gone viral of the mom and her son being beaten up by kids near that Southside Elementary School. A woman who goes by the name Yaz St. Patrick posting on Instagram. Let me say this first. My daughter is a great-ass kid. She's a AB student, captain of the cheerleading team, ahead of her class. And some more Shiite. All good things from every teacher. FYKUK. We don't owe nobody an apology. That lady and her kids, so y'all grown MFers looking for a viral moment, please shut it up, or please shut the blank up, because kids gonna be kids, and it's a kid out there that did way worse Shiite, let alone y'all as when y'all were 12 and 13 years old, y'all ass used to be out here beating up crackheads and y'all and all. Y'all don't know us at all. She was peer pressured. Well, really, peer pressured into beating up a woman and a child. That's what you consider an excuse. Interesting. She was peer pressured. If you know my family, you know, if we find a friend in an MF and we're going to stand behind them 100% no matter what, but this is definitely a lesson learned. She was held accountable for her actions. It takes a village, bitch. She got a castle, and everybody standing 10 toes behind her. I was never going to go live making y'all MFers feel no type of way. Once again, we do not owe y'all no apology. F you all, MFS. Know what's going on in real life and know my kids not raised like that at all. Feel how you want. F y'all. Mm-hmm. Okay, then. Well, that's why I wanted to hear from the parents. You know what I mean? Oh, boy. All right, turning our attention to other matters. The governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, once again distinguishing himself from the governors of, say, Illinois, California, New York, designating the Muslim Brotherhood and Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE, as foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organizations. This bans them from buying or acquiring land in Texas. It authorizes the Attorney General to sue to shut them down. You know, there's been an issue in Texas. I've seen some of this online with the number of mosques going up and the organizations that are perhaps behind some of those mosques. I mean, are these going to be, mosques, peaceful pluralist Muslims come to worship? Great. Or are these mosques that are headed by radical clerics that are seeking to promote subversive activities, shall we say? Again, banning members of the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE from buying or acquiring land in Texas and authorizes the Attorney General to sue to shut them down. Now, this is a little bit more complicated than just an executive order, as most executive orders are. The implementation is the trick. And, you target one LLC and they come up with a new LLC to try to hide who is behind some of these organizations, particularly if you're specifically identified as a prohibited party, then obviously you're not going to be transparent about what you're trying to do and how you go about doing it. So it's a little bit more complicated, but it certainly stakes out a position. And, it is worth noting that, the Holy Land Foundation, that federal prosecution, people remember that? Kind of an important one. There's Holy Land 5, and there's actually a really good write-up on this. I won't go into the details on it. Holy Land 5 distillation of this terror finance network that was set up that laundered more than $12 million to enemies of America. There were 5 principles of this Holy Land Foundation. CARE was named as an unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation federal prosecution. So, I know CARE presents itself as this Muslim American advocacy organization, just like any other religious or ethnic advocacy organization, and they're peaceful and they don't support violence and they're distinct from any sorts of illicit, illegal, anti-American activities. That is very much in doubt. And the executive order goes through some of specific individuals. Let me give you an example. In the executive order, whereas CARE and its members have repeatedly employed, affiliated with, and supported individuals promoting terrorism-related activities, including Ghassan Alashi, a founding board member of the Texas branch for CARE, treasurer of the Holy Land Foundation, sentenced to 65 years in prison for financing terrorism in 2009. Abdurrahman Alamoudi, speaker at a CARE-sponsored anti-Israel rally in D.C. in October 2000, proclaimed himself to be a supporter of Hamas, a supporter of Hezbollah, and later convicted as a terrorist for funding al-Qaeda. Randall Todd Royer, communications specialist and civil rights coordinator for CARE, sentenced to 20 years in prison in April of 2004 for conspiring to aid al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Bassem Khafagi, a community relations director for CARE, pleaded guilty to federal bank and visa fraud in 2003, funneling money to terrorist causes. Rabi Haddad, a CARE fundraiser, arrested and deported for his work as executive director of the Global Relief Foundation, closed by the Department of Treasury in October 2002 for financing al-Qaeda. Muthana al-Hanoudi, a director for CARE Michigan, convicted and sentenced to prison in 2011 for violating U.S. sanctions against Iraq by accepting 2 million barrels of Iraqi oil in exchange for helping Saddam Hussein's government. Sami al-Arian, a convicted terrorist and Palestinian Islamic Jihad financier who CARE publicly honored with its Promoting Justice Award in 2014, and featured in a 2020 lecture where he stressed his desire to promote CARE, supported financially as the first defense in America. Nahad Awad, CARE's current executive director, on November 24, 2023, publicly praised and supported Hamas's October 7th terrorist attack against Israel, saying he was, quote, happy to see, unquote, the assault which involved the kidnapping and murder of American citizens. The FBI suspended formal contracts with CARE in 2008, and the Biden administration even removed CARE's name from certain online documents in 2023 to make it clear it was distancing itself from the organization. So that's CARE, just in a quick snapshot. That sort of detail is important to distinguish this organization and its principals or active participants and what they say and what they do from peaceful pluralist Muslims in America, who I distinguish between, because I don't want to listen to all the nonsense about Islamophobia. This is not Islamophobia. This is not an attack on any and all Muslims. It's quite the opposite. It's very specific about specific people and their specific organizational affiliations and their specific conduct, which is the lens through which I analyze every person. Not what they say, what they do. And that's what we're doing here. So these contentious times, let's be very specific and purposeful about what we're saying. And Greg Abbott was by providing those details. And part of this is inspired, I think, by the heat that Abbott is taking over some of these organizations that are setting up mosques in Texas. And some of it is by what we're hearing and seeing from Muslim American politicians, Mamdani, Omar, Tlaib, Abdullah Hammoud, who is the mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, where he had some confrontations yesterday. Hammoud had this to say recently on a podcast on the topic of assimilation.
Because what you often hear that's accompanied with that is, well, you must assimilate. I shouldn't put out a magazine that's in 2 languages. Why can't you speak English? Why are my videos subtitled in Arabic? Why is my caption both in English and Arabic? People get frustrated by this. But to me, it's like, I actually disavow the use of the term the melting pot. I actually don't like it. Why? Because in a melting pot, when you're talking about like a soup, everything looks the same. Right. We're the salad bowl. The lettuce is lettuce, the tomato is tomato, the cucumber is cucumber. And they all complement each other.
Are we a melting pot or are we a salad bowl? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. And text line for that matter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're a salad bowl. Well, by the way, melting pot, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Salad bowl, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. If you want to make a case for separatism, then at least use a proper metaphor, Mayor Hammoud. What's going on in Dearborn is problematic. And so this was the occasion for instigation. I mean, you want to protest the Islamization of a community in America? It's fine. It's your constitutional right. I think there are ways to do it that are productive, and there are ways to do it that are unproductive. And Jake Long and company going up there and attempting to burn a Koran, which you can do. You have a constitutional right to do it. But because you have a constitutional right to do something doesn't mean it's a judicious thing to do. Right? You have a constitutional right to say all sorts of ignorant and intemperate things. Does that mean it makes sense to go around spewing ignorance and intemperance? No. Burning a Koran to be provocative, to provoke a confrontation. If you want people to show you who they are, you believe there are intemperate elements in Michigan, in Dearborn, Michigan. There are Islamists there that pose some threat to America. Well, then just go up and make your case on the merits. You don't need to turn it into a circus. And attempting to burn a Koran, and then attempting to put, wrap a Koran in a strip of bacon. Come on. That's not the way to do it. Not for thoughtful conservatives. And the point here, when it comes to this sort of thing, is not to just relieve yourself of anger indiscriminately. I understand why people would be disturbed about what we have seen coming out of Dearborn, Michigan. I am. But the point here is to act in a way that advances our flag for peaceful pluralism in this country, advances our flag against the threat that identitarianism and separatism, the threats that they present. And so, I'm not perfect. I've certainly indulged my anger just to relieve myself of the anger before, right? And in unproductive ways. And there's too much at stake to be unrestrained and indiscriminate in terms of how we try to advance our flag. So let's be thoughtful about it. Let's not sort of give in to the baser, less enlightened ways to try to make a point. Because I'm sure there are peaceful pluralist Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan, too, who maybe aren't on board with the particularly pointed rhetoric of the mayor. Now, he's the mayor, so somebody elected him. I get it. But, think about attacking heat with cool. I think that's the better approach. So what happened in Dearborn, Michigan? Yes, some people were exposed. I want you to get Charlie Kirked. People running in the streets, shouting Allah Akbar, which, it's just God is great. It doesn't necessarily need to be a terrorist cri de coeur. But they were saying intemperate things, and you had an Antifa element there, and they were getting in people's faces who weren't doing anything, calling everybody Nazis, and acting like the cry bullies that they are. So that's what I say. So just let them do your work for you. You don't have to try to get them to bite by engaging in purposefully provocative and, frankly, inconsiderate antics. Alexis in Mount Prospect, around Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. So the problem with the analogy that mayor used about the salad, where everything complements itself, is he completely leaves out the really important part. Everything in a salad complements all the items complement each other, yes, because they're all trying to be a salad. But if you throw a shoe in there, then the shoe doesn't fit. The shoe is not trying to be a salad. So he's completely missing the point. Assimilation means that everybody's got the same goal, just like a tomato, a cucumber, and a piece of lettuce in a salad. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for the call. Right. Everybody wants to be a salad, be part of the salad, just like everybody wants to be part of this country. I mean, we have a shared, sort of outlook. Yeah, I mean, right. Melting pot isn't you lose your individual identity. That's just one of the straw man arguments that these identitarian hacks make. But the other point here is to focus on the bigger things. The bigger thing isn't exposing some, goofy resident of Dearborn who is dumb enough to say hateful things while being videoed, marching down the street and, against the people that were marching down the street against the Islamization of Dearborn, Michigan. The thing is to go after the real threats in part, and at least point them out, in part like what Abbott is doing in Texas. These candidates for office, Zohran Mamdani is not done just by winning the mayor of New York City, mayoralty of New York City. He is backing a woman who is running for New York State Assembly in Queens named Aber Kawas. Listen to her.
And finding that, the system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., have all, and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory, and we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back, historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right, a lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for a terror attack that a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find reprehensible.
Boy, there's another dizzying intellect. She's going to fit right in with she's going to state assembly perhaps, but I mean, this is a candidate for office. Who has, an America brought 9/11 onto itself attitude, making no apology for terrorist attacks and suggesting reparations for people that were never enslaved in America. I guess I don't exactly know where the reparations piece comes in or where it starts and where it ends with her, but this is the point. When you have communities taken over the way that Minneapolis has been turned into Mogadishu, Minnesota. And then you get representation like the Omar Fattahs and the Ilhan Omars, and frankly, even honkies like Jacob Fry, who genuflect before the least temperate elements of those immigrant communities. Just back to CARE to close the loop on this, as I certainly want to give credit where credit's due. In addition to that lineup that Greg Abbott outlined in his piece, in his executive order, I should say, it was an op-ed executive order. New York Post reporting, Muslim group CARE cutting $1,000 checks for anti-Israel agitators who've been disciplined by colleges. There's CARE again. Money given to students who face penalties for leading pro-Palestinian protests, and weren't those thoughtful and considered? Before and after the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023. This per a report by the National Contagion Research Institute. Cash was awarded from a Champions of Justice Fund set up by the California chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations as, quote, institutional endorsement. $100,000 in donations for campus radicals, and that's apparently being distributed. $100,000 grants to students who lost scholarships, housing, or other support because of their advocacy. In addition to that, in October of 2024, CARE California awarded $20,000 in loans and scholarships to 20 student protesters from the Champions of Justice Fund. And so, the 18th annual CARE Chicago banquet is upon us. Saturday, November 20th. And, is that Saturday, November? Is November 20th Saturday? No, wait, what's today? This is, maybe this is a previous banquet. But anyway, the important point here is what we know about CARE and what we know about our governor. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker was the featured speaker at the CARE Chicago banquet, the 18th annual CARE Chicago banquet featuring J.B. Pritzker. So, perhaps an accounting for J.B. Pritzker in terms of his affiliations will be forthcoming. Coming up at 7:07, speaking of New York, as we were, talk to former mayoral candidate Republican Curtis Sliwa. That's 7:07. Now we check the headlines.
It'll go to the Senate this morning. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. But the Epstein Files resolution's already been approved unanimously there in advance after passing the House with only one no vote. President Trump says he'll sign it, even though he calls it a Democrat hoax. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's wary, calling the Justice Department corrupt.
You never know with him. He said he would. Let's wait and see.
This orders the Justice Department to turn over records related to the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, who, of course, had been accused of sex trafficking and abusing girls before he died in jail back in 2019.
That's Fox's Doug Luzader. President Trump and Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will meet with business leaders the day after talks and a black tie dinner at the White House, with the Saudis buying American fighter jets and investing up to $1 trillion in the U.S. But Fox's Jared Halpern reports they also addressed something the president did not like.
The 2018 killing of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, a murder U.S. intelligence assessed was likely carried out on the orders of the prince.
Things happen, but he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Bin Salman denies knowledge of the killing.
It's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
As the U.S. military continues to patrol off the South American coast in an operation against illegal drug trafficking, a group of Democrats in Congress put out a video urging service members to consider not taking part.
You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
The message doesn't name any specific orders. It was organized by Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin, a former CIA analyst who served in Iraq. She has expressed concern that President Trump might deploy troops to stop protests and about the legality of airstrikes against suspected drug smuggling boats.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. Russia launched another drone and missile barrage into Ukraine, killing at least 20 people, injuring 66. America's listening to Fox.
WIND, Chicago.
Good morning. It is 41 degrees here in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Parents of students at Orville Bright Elementary were outside of the school yesterday calling for accountability after a mother and her child were attacked by a group of children while they were walking to the school. Video of the brutal attack spread quickly on social media. Both the mother and her 9-year-old child were taken to the hospital for treatments of the injuries they received. Parents say this is not the first incident of bullying at the school. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says a full investigation is being conducted to ensure accountability. The campaign finance violation case against Illinois Senate President Don Harmon is over after the Illinois State Board of Elections decided not to take up an appeal and dismiss the case. Greg Bishop reports.
Harmon's campaign finance committee faced a nearly $10 million fine for violating campaign finance law by accepting donations in excess of state limits. Board members were deadlocked on whether to assess the fines last month. Tuesday, board chair Laura Donahue said another stalemate on an appeal doesn't address the law.
What do we do? What's the board do? We're in kind of a limbo. We won't have any direction because we've had recommendations from a hearing officer, our general counsel, and we don't know what an election cycle is defined. And I think will it be incumbent on the legislature to either give us that or the court or somewhere.
A person of interest is in custody following an incident on CTA's Blue Line on Monday night. According to reports, a 26-year-old woman got into a verbal altercation with a male. That man then poured a liquid over the woman and set her on fire. The victim was transported to the hospital for treatment. Police say the investigation is continuing. This news report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again, not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Catch more money with leading economist Steve Moore.
I'm excited about America. I think things are going really well. I think we've turned a corner here. I think Biden economics is well behind us now. This is a miracle what's going on here. If anything, it's better than I thought it would be. So many good things happening in the economy. Low inflation, low unemployment rate, consumer confidence up, business confidence up. All of the indicators are pointing north right now.
It's More Money, Saturday at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're getting divorced, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Marcy, 38, homemaker, no income, with 3 kids under 10, recently filed for divorce. Marcy's soon-to-be ex needed the equity out of their marital home to purchase a new home, so Marcy called Team Hochberg after being told by other lenders she couldn't refinance until the divorce was final. Wrong. I helped Marcy refinance with her parents co-signing because she didn't have a job and wasn't receiving child or spousal support. Let's review. Marcy needed to refinance her soon-to-be ex off the mortgage and give him half the home's equity to buy a home, and was told it couldn't be done. And I helped Marcy refinance. If you're getting divorced and want mortgage advice from a lender who can empathize with your situation, give us a call now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out. It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. And see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
The biggest time of the year for stores is during the Christmas season. And if you deal in collector coins, the main source for inventory is from people like you. We want to have our showcases fully stocked before Christmas. Last Christmas, gold was the highest ever recorded in its 5,000-year run. We don't always know if precious metals will go up or down. We're saying that if you don't appreciate that collection Grandpa left, you may want to at least find out what you can get for it. Fox Valley Coins is the trusted place where people come to buy and sell their precious metals, rare coins, and paper money. We're especially interested in purchasing now through the first week of December. And we'll still be buying after we get back from the Christmas break, but we need to purchase now. Fox Valley Coins is located 1 light north of I-88 on Route 59 on the Naperville-Warrenville border. We'll be closed Christmas Eve through Monday, January 4th, celebrating Jesus' birth with family and for year-end inventory. Merry Christmas from Fox Valley Coins. Family-owned, integrity since 1981. FoxValleyCoins.com.
Dan Proft here to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business and to make a difference this Christmas season. I'm talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide life-saving food and water for thousands of children and their families in Latin America and the Caribbean. Your business can be a part of this effort. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. That donation will help more than 30 children for an entire year. And when you do that, AM 560 will give you 40 one-minute commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you. To take advantage of this deal, just call John Gallagher at 847-472-8950. Again, that's 847-472-8950. One more time, the number, 847-472-8950. Or go to 560theanswer.com/food for the poor. That website again, 560theanswer.com/food for the poor.
Are you tired of tech headaches slowing your business down? Unique Computing Solutions has been the go-to IT team for businesses in Illinois and Northwest Indiana for nearly 30 years. Your systems should be running smoothly, your data secured, and your communications streamlined. Visit our website today at uniquecomputing-solutions.com. That's uniquecomputing-solutions.com. uniquecomputing-solutions.com. Your IT challenges solved.
a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. I'm Sue Aller. 16 minutes both ways on the Eden from Lake Cook to Montrose. Inbound Kennedy from O'Hare to the Burn Interchange is 31. Outbound is 32. The express lanes slow down inbound from Chicago Avenue to Ohio Street. And delays on the Reagan Memorial eastbound between Cermak Road and the Tri-State. The Tri-State northbound is jammed approaching the Eisenhower. Inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the old post office is 27 minutes. Outbound is 23. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore 31. Outbound is 21. Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn Interchange is 22. Outbound is 11. This traffic update is quickly delivered by Quick Delivery Service. For reliable same-day delivery, Quick Delivery will customize a logistics plan to pick up your items and move them safely to their destination. Trust their 40 years of experience for peace of mind. Get a quote at quickdelivery.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be cloudy with a high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover and a high of 54. Moving into Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will have a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Forever Remodeling. Stress-free and high-quality remodeling. View their stunning transformations online at the number 4everremodeling.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Cause they got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. So yesterday we talked a little bit about vocational training in response to comments made by Ford CEO Jim Farley about the 5,000 mechanics that Ford needs that he can't find. We had a good conversation about that. And, of course, the juxtaposition was vocational educational opportunities post-high school as compared with college. And the first 10 months of last year, something like 1.6 million BAs or better, meaning BAs or advanced degrees conferred, compared to something like 140,000 vocational training programs completed, and the supply is not meeting the demand of the moment, particularly when it's a lot of supply of liberal arts educations that barely meet the definition of education. So I wanted to look at the other side. We didn't get to it yesterday, but let's look at the collegiate side and what's going on there. Faculty report out this week at the University of California, San Diego found that 1 in 8 of its students requires remedial math classes due to plummeting admission standards at the schools. UCSD, 1 in 8. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe even a little higher from the conversations I've had. Not recently, but I don't think it's getting any better. Certainly not with the quality of K through 12 education in Illinois. The conversations I've had with community college and state university folks in Illinois. Jonathan Turley writes, it's only the latest example of the dumbing down of education in America. Calling for, what everybody's called for the better part of half a century, a reboot of post-secondary education. He goes on to cite this report. The final report concluded that the University of California test scores are currently better predictors of first-year GPA than high school grade point average, and about as good at predicting first-year retention. First-year retention, GPA, and graduation, which says something about grade inflation at the high school level, although it's only continued on in so many colleges and universities. And so this takes us to this op-ed from an academic at Montclair State in New Jersey. The president of Montclair State telling faculty and staff at the start of this school year, The learners of the future are not Americans. The population of people going to college in this country is going down, while the population of people who want a university education around the world is exploding. So he's telling his colleagues to adapt. This is not just about enrolling students from other countries because it's good for the bottom line. It is. For example, out-of-state undergrads pay a tuition premium of nearly $11,000 a year at Montclair State. But it's not just about that. Americans are not the learners of the future. That is a jarring statement. It should be received as such, I think. The university's mission statement, and this is a microcosm, described Montclair State as, quote, committed to serving the educational needs of New Jersey with programs characterized by academic rigor and currency in the development of knowledge and its applications. And in furtherance of that mission statement, they're eliminating the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, all of them. All of the humanities classes and social sciences, including economics, apparently, at a time when we couldn't have more people getting out of college who are economically illiterate. Why? Not clear. But one email that the faculty and staff received in March from then Provost Junius Gonzalez cited a similar experience in which he restructured another institution with the help of, quote, people who truly visioned the potential synergies and multipliers in opportunities. Boy, that's academic speak if I've ever heard of it. The plan would reorganize the departments and their faculty members into an array of schools, centers, and institutes. Among those, the administrators have floated the School of Human Narratives and Creative Expressions, the Institute for Complex Systems and Algorithmic Infused Societies, the author of this piece, again, is a professor at Montclair State. It is worth asking why administrators at Montclair State seem so eager to deny their students, American or not, the educational opportunities that many of the administrators themselves received. The president of the university has a BA in government and a master's and doctorate in political science. The former provost studied literature as well as biology as an undergraduate. The president and the provost earned their bachelor's degrees at Harvard and Brown, respectively. He writes, when a school's own administrators intend to throw away every one of the university's departments in so much of the sum total of all human knowledge for thousands of years from Plato to NATO, or if you prefer, from Aristotle to algorithmic infused Armageddon, maybe the onus should be on them to explain their plan to leave intellectually immiserated and stifled the students' lives they ought to be committed to enriching. In the American, he goes on to say, whether they hail specifically from Jersey or the broader American country whose learners, Montclair State as a public institution, have a particular duty to educate, current and future students at the university and other institutions like it deserve no less of an opportunity to enhance their lives, their minds, their souls through the studies of the humanities and social sciences than do the far smaller percentage of students attending elite universities that charge 4 times as much. Any American administrators who think otherwise regard current and future students of their own universities with such contempt as to be undeserving of the education that in many cases those administrators themselves or their parents or their children received along the way are an enemy of the intellectual enterprise, of the educational, and I would add, intellectual enterprise. This is an English professor at Montclair State who wrote this piece in the Journal. There's something to that. I mean, we have long documented on this show the evisceration of anything resembling a classical liberal arts education, you know, when you start removing Shakespeare from the English curriculum, English lit curriculum, for example. But that doesn't mean the entire field you just walk away from because some universities pollute it with the agitprop of the day, as opposed to enduring scholarship from great writers and great thinkers any more than you would do that in any other discipline, economics, political science, engineering, both social sciences and the hard sciences. There is something to that. And it seems to me that what Montclair State is doing, the mistake it's making in trying to adapt to the changing reality of post-secondary education, is the same mistake that colleges and universities made over the last 50 years, which is to be the sort of living institution, the way that the left refers to the Constitution as a living document, just a leaf in the wind that gets blown about in whichever direction the cultural winds are howling. Completely lost. They are foundationless. They are the equivalent of what Hank Johnson thinks the island of Guam is, just floating on the surface of the water, subjected to the forces around it. There's no base from which to operate. And so these mission statements are meaningless and in many cases indecipherable, as are the metamorphoses that they're pursuing at places like Montclair State. Montclair State being a canary in the coal mine, I think, is my point here. So when I said yesterday, thinking about vocational education, what is and isn't being done in that vein, and we had a lot of good callers from practitioners in the space discussing what some of the infirmities are, where the opportunities are. Ford should be running its own vocational program. They have the resources, they have the branding to attract and develop the kind of talent they need, indigenous talent that they need to, move product, to build and move product. So the same thing is going on in college at the collegiate level. Montclair State is a bad example of trying to be relevant to the time. And I think in both cases, there's a certain blind spot. And the blind spot is going back to what worked to bring America to this place as the beacon, not just of liberty, but that's our base, that's our foundation, but as the beacon of liberty, such that it became the center of innovation and entrepreneurship and thus wealth creation. I don't think either side of this education divide that we've discussed over the last 2 days is getting back to first principles. And maybe if there was a little bit more focus on resetting that table, then what flows from there in terms of the adjustments to how vocational education operates and flourishes, as well as the traditional university education operates and flourishes, would be more obvious. Dan Proft, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago immune support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here, and as promised, we're now joined by Curtis Sliwa. He was the Republican candidate for mayor in New York, of course, in 25 and 21. Founder and CEO of the Guardian Angels there. Curtis Sliwa, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
No, my pleasure.
Well, I was completely aligned with you in your resistance to drop out of the race. Against the pressure from Bill Ackman and others. I think you explained yourself well. But now that it has passed, I just have to ask the question, any regrets about not dropping out of the race to make it a one-on-one between Cuomo and Mamdani?
No, none whatsoever, because when all is said and done, even if all of my votes had gone to Andrew Cuomo, he still would have lost. Why would the Republicans sacrifice a line in order to let two Democrats run against one another? I mean, that's the problem you have in your city there in Chicago. You don't have a viable Republican Party. And the Democrats keep electing Democrats, and things keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So you either have principles and you're a party of law and order and public safety and quality of life, or you're not. Or you might as well just allow a one-party system to exist. That's what I was, the Republican candidate, and I proudly ran in a race in which, unfortunately, too many Republicans, out of fear and fright, decided to endorse a failed Democrat, and the results they got were Zohran Mamdani is the mayor.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that your run, particularly this run, since it was much more high profile than I would say 4 years ago, do you think that helps, for example, Elise Stefanik in her race against Kathy Hochul for the governorship next year, in terms of establishing a beachhead and providing perhaps more interest within the city for the Republican alternative? I thought you actually, I didn't follow it as closely as probably New Yorkers did, but from the debates that I watched between the three of you, I thought you performed pretty admirably. And maybe this generates some interest that can be leveraged by Stefanik in the city, right?
Well, it all depends on how Zohran Mamdani does in his first year in office. Obviously, I anticipate there's going to be a lot of problems along the way. He sold a lot of fantasy, and reality is going to suddenly hit hard. He'll blame everything on Donald Trump, the president, as he has already signaled he will if he doesn't get what he wants. But I think with Elise Stefanik, she will do very well in the rest of the state of New York. Unfortunately, the bulk of the vote is in New York City. And a Republican to become governor must win at least 35% of the New York City vote. That's what George Pataki was able to do in 1994, a year after Rudy Giuliani won as mayor of the city. And the combination of a Republican mayor, Rudy Giuliani, Mr. Law and Order, and George Pataki, what it brought to the state and city was stability, low crime, quality of life, no corruption, no chaos. With the Democrats, you got exactly the opposite. And that's why people have to be offered an alternative point of view when going into the ballot box. Because if it's all Democrat all the time, there's no checks and balances, there's no transparency. And ultimately, you have what you have in Chicago right now, and what we will experience now with a Democrat socialist mayor in New York City in Zohran Mamdani.
Are you going to be campaigning for Stefanik in her race?
Oh, absolutely. I was all during the mayoral campaign. I was actually presenting it as a 1-2 punch. Why not do what voters did in 1993 and 1994 and return stability to New York State and city so the fear and fright does not lead to more flight. We're losing massive amounts of population, both in the state and the city. It's going south of the border to Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Tennessee, and other parts of the United States. The only way to stem that flow is to show the people that you're going to stabilize the situation fiscally, because we're spending money that we don't have. We're sort of like the federal government, except you have to have a balanced budget in both the city and state, and we're not doing that. And number two, because the quality of life is so poor, the cost of living is so high, it's causing an incredible number of young people, millennials and Gen Zers, who had 4 years of college, 2 years of graduate school. Maybe they're a financial planner, maybe they're a CPA or an attorney, to pick up after actually spending time in the school system in New York, the university or college system, and then deciding to go where the jobs are, because the jobs are no longer being generated in New York State, New York City. They're being generated in other states.
I mean, you sort of made your brand in part by on the issue of public safety, Guardian Angels. And I wonder if you think that some of the high-profile incidents that have happened in New York, like the Daniel Penny incident, people being thrown in front of trains. We had another incident on the CTA here in Chicago on the L on Monday night where a woman was lit on fire. And in Chicago, like I assume in New York, you try to figure out, are people so inured to violent crime and barbarism that they just sort of discount it when it comes to their votes? Or maybe Mamdani was a little bit of an it girl celebrity in a way that Kathy Hochul isn't, and they'll use the opportunity to vote for public safety next year when it comes to the governor's race, and that perhaps is the same thing we're hoping for in Illinois.
Well, the problem is in New York, we had a sitting mayor who was the most corrupt in the city's history, and that's saying a lot. That's Eric Adams. So in his failure, it paved the way on the Democratic side for the failed and disgraced former governor Andrew Cuomo. So you are really running two old-school, corrupt individuals against this brand-new face that nobody really knew, Zohran Mamdani. Not even his neighbors knew who he was a year before. And he was able to organize, and these two Democrats, traditional Democrats who had a lot of baggage, ended up really going in a different direction than what the residents of the city were. The residents of the city said the cost is too high, the rent is too high to pay. And that's what's really squeezing people. And both of the Democrats really weren't paying attention to that. That's why Zohran won. And I was focused on the law and order quality of life issue. As you said, you just had a situation. A woman was set on fire on the CTA. We had a situation a year ago. It's almost the anniversary, remember, where we had a woman set on fire by an illegal alien.
Yeah.
Set her on fire. She was like a torch. She melted to the ground. No police helped her. None of the citizens helped her. And it was probably the worst incident I've ever experienced in the subway system that I've been riding since I was 5 years old in 1959 and patrolling as a Guardian Angel since 1979. So it really is. If you don't have law and order, if you don't have public safety, if you don't have quality of life, you're not going to generate jobs, and you're not going to keep people locally. They're just going to flee where they have a better quality of life, a better cost of living, better school system, and that's what's happening both in your area and in our area here in New York City.
That incident in New York that you just mentioned, the woman that was murdered by lit on fire, terrible, obviously. But was that still top of mind? Is that something that really took hold in terms of the consciousness of the body politic, do you think? Or is it just something that is another a day with another atrocity in the city and people are desensitized to it?
No. In poll after poll, there were four key issues. Cost of living, rent too high to pay, public safety, and quality of life. They were like 1, 2, 3, and 4. They always jockeyed at the lead of people's interest. So clearly Zohran Mamdani's strength was his presentation of saying the rent is too high to pay. He wants to freeze the rent. And the cost of living is too high, which he's clearly correct on. Republicans have even agreed on that. But he had no answers for public safety, quality of life. The news today is that the present police commissioner, who is Jessica Tisch, has agreed to stay on during the transition. So that's good for the stability of the police department. But the mayor-elect overall public safety program means he's not going to hire cops. He wants to hire social workers. And with an increasing juvenile crime, violent crime rate, that's not going to be an answer to the problems that the city has. You have to approach it the way Rudy Giuliani did. You hire more cops. You have to get aggressive. And most importantly, you have to go after the gangs, both those that are comprised of illegal aliens and those that are local gangs in the urban inner city areas. If you don't do that, you lose control of the city.
Curtis Lewa, New York City candidate for mayor in 21 and 2025, Republican. Founder, CEO of the Guardian Angels, of course. Curtis, thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations on your run. Appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. My pleasure.
And Curtis Lewa joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line. Coming up at 7:37, we'll turn our attention to that affordability issue that Curtis was just speaking on when Steve Moore joins us. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 44 degrees in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. The founder of a Chicago cryptocurrency company has been indicted on an alleged $10 million money laundering conspiracy. Prosecutors say Crypto Dispenser's CEO Furious Issa and his company Virtual Assets have both pleaded not guilty. According to the indictment, Issa's company operated a cash-to-cryptocurrency exchange business with crypto ATMs at various locations throughout the U.S. The so-called serial puncher has been sentenced to 7 years in prison. That sentence was rendered after 37-year-old Derek Rucker pleaded guilty to aggravated battery of a transit employee, aggravated battery in a public space, and aggravated battery of a peace officer. Rucker was arrested after punching a 44-year-old woman last month. Officials say he has a long rap sheet with a record dating back to 2006. News is a service of Air Right Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off any service, including inspections, or take advantage of limited-time federal rebates on a new furnace. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 26th on their The Ghost of Christmas Eve 2025 tour. Enter to win tickets and the grand prize of a 75-inch TV, a home stereo system, and a $1,000 gift card. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/TSO.
Honey, what's for dinner?
Honestly, nothing.
Nothing? Why not?
Because every time I need a pan, I have to unload half the kitchen first.
It's like Jenga, but with casserole dishes.
Exactly. And I always lose.
At Forever Remodeling, we create kitchens that fit your life, not the other way around. From smart storage to stunning finishes, start cooking in a kitchen built just for you. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com.
Hi, this is Sean Thompson. When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Alpha Wealth Group, Tom Fortino understands the nuts and bolts of retirement planning. The investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and much more. But think about it. What are you really trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P, or is your goal to make memories with your family? At Alpha Wealth Group, their goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group to learn more. You can do it today. Call 630-864-6711. The number again, 630-864-6711. To schedule a no-obligation consultation. You can do it today online as well at alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
There's no championship league for small business owners, but if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation, one-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. We're shut down on the eastbound side of 8094 between the Tri-State and Torrance Avenue with a flipped over semi-truck. Traffic is only getting by on the shoulder. You want to avoid this altogether and stick with Lincoln Highway. Also, stop and go delays on the southbound Tri-State as you approach 8094. You also have a problem on Lakeshore Drive, southbound at Montrose Avenue. It's an accident, and the northbound side is completely jammed into Hollywood Avenue. You've got inbound delays on both the Bishop Ford and 57 approaching the Dan Ryan. The inbound Dan Ryan is 40 minutes from 95th Street to the Byrne Interchange. Outbound is 13. This report is a service of Blindster.com. Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where they offer custom-made window coverings at guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be cloudy with a high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover with a high of 54. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will feature a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. So, President Trump at the McDonald's summit has had a meteoric rise from being a fry cook to being president of the United States. He was talking about affordability at that McDonald's summit, a word that he thinks Republicans should own.
My pledge to every family and every small business is that I will not rest until you are richer, stronger, more successful, happier, till you've gotten a piece of the American dream. Some of you in this room have really gotten a piece of it because you made a great decision to go with a great, great company years ago. And it's really pretty amazing. That begins with making America. We have to do, the word is affordable. And affordable should be our word, not theirs. Because the Democrats got up and talked affordability. And they don't say that they had the worst inflation in history, the highest energy prices in history. Everything was the worst. What they're great at is lying. They say affordability. This stuff was all much more expensive.
For more on this and other matters economic, pleased to be joined, as per usual on Wednesdays, by Stephen Moore, noted economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again, co-authored with Art Laffer. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dan. And by the way, I was in preparation for coming on your show. I'm in a hotel, so all they had was the USA Today, and here is the headline. I'm sure you haven't read it, but it's Mandami's victory fuels a socialist movement across America.
Yes, but enough about
really,
Seattle.
I mean,
right.
Exactly. So think about this. We have Washington. We have now Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, and New York that all have socialist mayors. It's what's happening to this country.
Well, it says something about big blue cities. It also says something about something we were just talking about actually with Curtis Lewa. It has something to say with big blue cities where the Republican Party in that state has abdicated. And so in search of a choice, they go from either a Democratic machine hack, they go from that to socialist revolutionaries because people are interested in a choice and they get tired of the same old thing. So we've gone from Daley to Rahm to Lightfoot to Brandon Johnson. They've gone from Cuomo to I should say from they could have New York's a bit more confused, but De Blasio to Adams to Mamdani. That Summer of Love chick in Seattle to Bruce Harrell to the socialist Katie Wilson. When you don't people want choice, right? That's just the nature of things. And if the Republican Party isn't going to even offer one, then somebody from the left will offer one.
Well, I want to read you this first quote, if I may, from this article, because I almost broke out laughing, and you probably will too when I read this. So they interviewed people, in New York and Seattle and so on about why they voted the way they did. And this is this woman. She's a pharmacist, and she said, quote, I don't think it's working, especially I don't think that is capitalism is working, especially in like my field, which is healthcare. Capitalism is just not working. I'm like, wait a minute. The furthest thing we have in healthcare today is capitalism. It's all been taken over by the government. I mean, if you want to see socialism in action, it's our healthcare system, which is with exploding costs and declining returns.
Well, 100%. But I mean, that's the problem is, right, that they think well, this is a capitalist country, so what we're getting must be the product of capitalism. So capitalism isn't working. I mean, you start from you start from a real premise, but it's a false understanding of what's happening with trajectory systems and cities and states are being taken, and so you get that outcome. But I mean, part of this is, it seems to me like a failure of conservatives and Republicans to properly message.
Well, that's of course true. We have a great product to sell, which is free market capitalism, which has made America the richest country in the history of civilization. But it is depressing that so many look. Mamdani got 72% of the young vote, 72%. A socialist, and when I think I said this on your show before, but I want to say it again. When I go on college campuses, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I used to do it all the time. And, I talk about why socialism is a failure and why free market capitalism is a success just about everywhere. And the people would usually come up to me after I gave my talk would be foreigners saying, what is wrong with these people? I came to America to get away from socialism. People who came from Cuba, or came from Korea, or came from, Russia and these other countries. And they're like, I hate socialism. I've experienced it firsthand. It leads to deprivation. It leads to poverty. It leads to more and more government control of your life. And yet, Americans seem to think that socialism is like the pathway to the Garden of Eden.
Well, right, because the devil always comes dressed as a false good, not dressed as evil, right?
That is true.
Yeah, and so this is what we have. Well, just to the point of affordability, then the argument, and frankly, Republicans. There's a lot of Republicans, including Trump, that often talk about government as some sort of force for good that's going to make you rich and productive, and we're going to provide opportunities and stuff. All roads lead through government. So in both sides, essentially are saying, all paths lead through government, but it's me government, not they government. I mean, I can understand the confusion. So what's your assessment of the job Trump is doing on the affordability issue, both substantively and from a communication perspective?
Well, okay. So on substance, that's the thing that I have to say I'm confused about, because if you look, we just ran the numbers through the month of August. These are the latest numbers available. So that's the first 9 months of Trump's second term. The real median income, people in the exact middle, we're talking right in the heart of the middle class, their after inflation income has risen by $1,200. In other words, they have $1,200 more affordability, not less. And yet people think that they're poor because they go to the grocery store and stuff and see these rising prices. But so substantively, we have more affordability today than any time in American history. That's just a fact in terms of real median income. Now, the other issue that is so interesting, and I think this is the best way for Republicans to kind of counter the socialism aspect, is, do you know what states, Dan, have the highest cost of living?
California, New York,
yes,
New Jersey.
Yes. There's another one.
Illinois.
Illinois, ding, 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 ding. So the states that have the highest cost of living, that are least affordable, are all run by liberal Democrats. By the way, you could also add to that list Connecticut. And so, and why? And it's not. Now those states tend to be a little bit richer; they have higher incomes, but if you look at what's happening in those states, what do they have? They have really high taxes. They have high minimum wage laws. They have restrictions on building new housing. The housing crisis is a result of government. You know that we put so many restrictions on building multifamily homes that you have a shortage. So my column this week, I write one syndicated column a week. It's called "If You Want More Affordability, Move to a Red State."
Oh, okay, but I mean, well, let's see, 40 million in California, 13 in Illinois, 20 some and 20 in so I don't think
fewer all the time.
Yeah, I understand, but we have to do something short of telling 100 million people to move from blue states.
Well, but that's not the point I'm actually making. I'm making the point that we actually do have socialism experiments. We have experiments with government intervention in the economy, and that's Illinois, California, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and they all have very high cost of living. So if all of this stuff is supposed to reduce your costs, why are the states that have the high taxes, high regulations, the high welfare states, why are they the states that with the highest costs? Do you have an answer for that one, Dan?
Well, I mean, you've already given the answer, but here's the thing. So it's going back to Trump, and Kevin Hassett was on the other day, and I thought explained this well on CNBC. He said, look, what you had under Biden because of Bidenflation was $3,000 reduction in your purchasing power, and what you've got so far under Trump in 10 months is $1,200 back of your purchasing power, but it's not going to happen overnight. And rather than just saying prices are down, if people don't believe that and they don't see it because they're looking at the nominal prices and they're not down. Just explain, look, man, this guy dug us into a ditch, as Trump says in not so many words, and it's a process, and here's where we're at and here's where we're going.
Yeah, so I know you read our hotline every day, and this is exactly the point that we made yesterday, which is we just did the calculations. 87.5% of the inflation that people are angry about, like in grocery prices, beef prices, egg prices, coffee prices, housing prices, 87% of that happened under Biden. It was a mountain of increase in costs, and so far this year, the inflation rate is running at about 2.5 to 3.0. Now, that's still too high. We got to get it down to the Fed target at 2. But it's a big improvement over 6, 7, 8, 9% inflation we had under Biden. And that's a point Trump has to make over and over again. Just as in, healthcare, everybody's, oh my God, healthcare is so expensive, which it is. Gee, where did that all come from? Oh yeah, 15 years ago we passed the Affordable Care Act. Gee, that really worked. Now healthcare is 2 to 3 times more expensive. In other words, every time they say they're going to fix it, they make it worse.
So what happens with those temporary Obamacare subsidies? Do they live down to the Milton Friedman observation that nothing is so temporary nothing is so permanent as a temporary government program?
We're going to face another potential government shutdown starting sometime in January. All they did was pass 30 or 60 days, I forget the exact number of days, but all they did was, kick the can down the sidewalk. So we're going to have this debate all over again. And one thing, by the way, Trump did, I liked this a lot. And I don't always apologize for Trump. I think some of his tweets, I don't like give everybody $2,000. That's a dumb idea. That's going to make inflation worse, not better.
Yes.
But he did say, I don't know if you saw his tweet, he said, look, the health insurance companies are ripping off America. And he's absolutely right about that. The health insurance companies are completely in bed now with the Democrats because they're the ones who have gotten rich off of Obamacare. We had a cartoon in our hotline yesterday and it showed, here's how Obamacare works. And at first have a Brinks truck coming and it's delivering money into the quote Obamacare, and then out the exit door, all the money goes right into the van of the health insurance companies. That's exactly what Obamacare has done. It has not expanded coverage. It's simply enriched health insurance companies, which are an unnecessary middleman. Why can't we pay for health care like we pay for everything else?
Well, so then, so two questions. One, the one I asked, do you think Republicans on the Hill are going to agree to extend those temporary Biden subsidies?
I don't know.
And
you're putting me on the spot here, Ben. I think they're going to probably fold on that because,
that's
gosh,
what I think.
Everybody has to have free health care.
Yes.
You want to talk about socialism. That's why the first thing I said, these idiots are saying, we have to get rid of free market capitalism like we have in our health care system. Free market capitalism health care?
Right, I know. But so then are we going to be treated to at least the, at least give me the appearance that you have an interest in addressing this substantively? So we're going to extend the subsidies because people relied on them or some such bull jive argument.
Yeah.
And then, but we're going to come up with a plan to replace Obamacare and we're going to make another go at it. Do you see that happening, even rhetorically?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I think there is a real effort, and we're kind of leading the charge on this about, okay, how do you fix healthcare so it actually does become affordable? Well, first of all, you do something about people don't need first dollar coverage for insurance, and in fact, they'd save money because you're paying $30,000 in premiums right now. So have health savings accounts where people actually pay for the services right out of their pocket. Number two, how about healthcare transparency? When's the last time you went to see a doctor or went to the hospital and you asked how much it costs?
Right. Nobody knows. So why even bother asking? Yeah.
Even the doctor doesn't know. Even the hospital doesn't know. And so we got to put the pricing system back in the system. We need to do something about, getting drugs on the market faster. There's so many things that could be done to reduce healthcare, but Bernie Sanders, we're going to end up with Bernie Sanders' vision of a single payer government run system. And then rich people are going to opt out. This is exactly what happened in Europe. So, the rich people get good healthcare and everybody else gets lousy healthcare, but it's free.
And then the story out this week, a guy with a bullet in his face has been waiting 8 years to get it removed in Canada. So there you go.
Right.
Well, let that be a lesson to you, Chicago.
Their healthcare system it's all free, but what is it? They give you a toothbrush. That's your healthcare system.
Well, it's right. It's the old PG O'Rourke observation, right? The good news in Canada is that gallbladder surgery you need is free. The bad news is you're never going to get it.
Exactly.
Stephen Moore, economist.
By the way, something else he said that's coming back to haunt us, which is so true. You think healthcare is expensive now? Wait till the government gives it away for free.
Exactly.
And he was 100% right about that.
That's exactly what we're seeing right now, precisely.
Yep.
Stephen Moore, economist, author of The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity. Again, thanks as always, Steve. Appreciate it.
Man.
And Steve joined us in the Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's something about the feel of a gold coin in your hand and the way the light reflects off its intricate details that has always captivated me. Nick Grovich, AmFed's owner, turned that same passion into his livelihood. Nick began collecting coins as a teen, and that interest grew into a nationally respected business offering only the finest quality coins at the most competitive prices. But the truth is that although Nick is a rare coin dealer, he doesn't believe in rare coins. Rare coins do not make sound investments, but they do make dealers a lot of money. See, that's part of what I respect about him. AmFed specializes in buying non-performing numismatic coins and turning them into gold or silver investments that provide liquidity and perform competitively against the market. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com.
Get 2 mattresses for the price of 1.
Whoa, what are you doing?
We don't do sales at Penny Mustard.
I know, Nicole.
So how can we offer 2 mattresses for the price of 1?
Because it's only 1 mattress.
You're not making sense, Ben. Have you been painting in confined spaces again?
Arvid, I'm talking about Penny Mustard's 2-sided mattresses.
Oh, I see. When you have a flippable 2-sided foam or coil spring mattress,
it's like having 2 mattresses for the price of 1.
You'll give each side more time to breathe.
And your mattress will last twice as long.
You use both sides of your pillow, and you should be able to use both sides of your mattress, too.
I don't use a pillow.
What do you use?
A cement block.
Really?
I find it relaxing after a long day of painting in confined spaces.
2-sided mattresses, because 2 is better than 1. Available every day at Penny Mustard Furnishings.
7 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishings.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-458-9469. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-458-9469. 800-458-9469. 800-458-9469.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 7:07, we'll make an appeal for life. A little bit later in the program, you got to hear this. The new Miss World from Chile, Ignacia Fernandez, death metal singer. It's bizarre. It is now 7 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
Trying to find a way to end a war that keeps killing civilians. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll is in Kyiv to meet with Ukrainian leaders and share military technology as that country's president visits Turkey looking for more support trying to stop Russia, which launched another deadly attack, killing at least 20 people, injuring 66.
President Volodymyr Zelensky called it a brazen attack. In Ternopil, in western Ukraine, 9-story apartment blocks were hit. People could still be trapped in the rubble. 3 districts of the country's second largest city, Kharkiv, were also struck by a massive drone attack. In total, Russia fired more than 470 drones and 47 missiles overnight.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. President Trump's approved a Saudi purchase of American fighter jets,
designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally.
He said that while hosting Saudi leader Mohammed bin Salman at a black tie dinner.
The president rolled out the red carpet for the Saudi crown prince, and in return, MBS brought President Trump a big check.
Today and tomorrow, we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas.
Later on today, during a business summit at the Kennedy Center, the leaders will be joined by the heads of Chevron, Qualcomm, Cisco, General Dynamics, and Pfizer, among others.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House, where the president again called the push for the release of all the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking files a hoax, but added he'll sign it with nothing to hide. The Senate unanimously approved the resolution compelling the Justice Department to hand over the files after the House also passed it with just one no vote. Annie Farmer is an Epstein victim.
This is not an issue of a few corrupt Democrats or a few corrupt Republicans. This is a case of institutional betrayal. Because these crimes were not properly investigated, so many more girls and women were harmed.
America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It is 44 degrees in Chicago on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. The campaign finance violation case against Illinois Senate President Don Harmon of Oak Park is over after the Illinois State Board of Elections decided not to take up an appeal and dismiss the case. Harmon's campaign finance committee faced a nearly $10 million fine for violating campaign finance law by accepting donations in excess of state limits. Records indicate that he personally contributed more than $100,000 to his campaign committee in January of 2023, having the effect of lifting contribution limits for others to donate, but took campaign contributions in excess of limits the following election cycle. Chicago police have issued an alert after 5 Southside businesses were robbed early yesterday morning. According to reports, 4 of those businesses were located in the 1600 block of East 55th Street and the 5th in the 1600 block of East 56th Street. Police say 3 suspects are being sought at this time. Anyone with information is asked to contact Area 1 detectives at 312-747-8380. The designated protest area has been expanded in Broadview. Officials say protesters will now be able to gather on Beach Street, which will be closed, allowing for a safer environment. A designated vehicle traffic zone has been established south of the protest zone, allowing access to local businesses on Beach Street south of Lexington. And a person of interest is in custody following an incident on CTA's Blue Line Monday night. According to reports, a 26-year-old woman got into a verbal altercation with a male. That man then poured a liquid over the woman and set her on fire. The victim was transported to the hospital for treatment. Police say that investigation is continuing. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again, not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes, but time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Target shares are down this morning in pre-market action. Quarterly profits tumbling at the retailer. Target announcing it plans to invest billions to upgrade stores as slumping sales continue. Meanwhile, OpenAI and Target plan to partner to bring new AI-powered experiences across the retail platform. Lowe's shares, they are up now. The home improvement giant beat earnings expectations. Lowe's reported adjusted earnings of $3.06 a share on revenue of $20.8 billion. Analysts had expected Lowe's to post adjusted earnings of $2.97 a share. Wall Street will be waiting and watching as chip giant NVIDIA reports earnings after the closing bell. President Trump writing on Truth Social, investment in AI is helping to make the U.S. economy the hottest in the world. Dow futures are up. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Frank Lanza, invested in you.
Scott Jennings explains the differences between right and left.
It has been maddening to me to see the Democratic Party, the liberal movement, the radical progressives, turn on Israel over the last couple of years. What distinguishes us from the radical left? The ability to tell the difference between right and wrong.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer. Don't miss In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr. Now heard on Sunday mornings at 7:30. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His world each Sunday morning right here on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're looking for a watch that makes a statement, Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville has the perfect timepiece for you. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. Roland's carries my favorite watch brand, Tag Heuer. Tag Heuer is all about precision with a sleek, bold style. And I've got a Tag Heuer watch from my friends at Roland's Jewelers. I love it. They've got a great selection of other fashion-forward watch brands like Bell & Ross, Movado, Tissot, and Michelle, or consider Roland's iconic collection of pre-owned Rolexes. Let Roland's watch specialists help you find the perfect timepiece that fits your style and have their terrific experts show you the Tag Heuer watch that I bought from Roland's. Ask for it by name. Tell them it's Mike Gallagher's watch. Visit Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville or RolandsJewelers.com. That's Roland's, ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com, or call them 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust, just like I do.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for plus at Hassellus Mattress. Hassellus showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hassellus Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hassellus Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hassellus.com.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Take the journey of living a happy, successful, and meaningful life through God. Listen to It's Time with Dan Lights, Sunday mornings at 9 on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Completely jammed on the Dan Ryan in the local lanes inbound between Chicago Skyway and Roosevelt Road with an accident taking down 3 left lanes. You can go with the express lanes, but they are slow inbound between Garfield Boulevard and the Stevenson. So the inbound Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne Interchange is 101 minutes. Outbound is 14. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 53 minutes. Outbound is 54. Stop and go southbound on Lakeshore Drive at Montrose Avenue with a collision. Northbound is jammed into Hollywood Avenue. 2 right lanes are blocked. Eastbound on 8094 at Torrance Avenue with a flipped over semi-truck. This report is the service of Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now we're check up your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be cloudy with a high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover and a high of 54. Moving into Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will have a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Jonathan Haidt, social psychologist, co-author of The Coddling of the American Mind, recently did a sit-down with the Free Press's Barry Weiss, and I guess CBS News is Barry Weiss these days, and had this to say about social media and its particular psychological impact on young women, and particularly young women that are oriented to the left, that orientation perhaps being driven by parents, schools, both, social media itself. Take a listen, and the 3 particularly poisonous ideas that infect the leftist's mind, particularly the leftist woman.
Girls spend a lot more time on social media than boys. Liberal girls spend a lot more time than conservative girls. That didn't used to be the case, but as we get into the 2010s, when everything gets so politicized, we get into the Great Awakening, we get into the polarization, the illiberalism that is, that you and I have really been, writing about and talking about for a long time. As we get into the era, the feeds of the liberal girls gets much more taken over by how terrible the world is, everything's sexist, you're not going to get ahead. And this is like the greatest era of female progress that we're going through. But liberal girls are sort of caught in a set of disempowering ideas. And my previous book, The Coddling of the American Mind, with Greg Lukianoff, was exactly about that. Here's 3 terrible, terrible ideas. And if you believe them, you're almost guaranteed to be a failure in life. It's what doesn't kill you makes you weaker. Always trust your feelings. And life is a battle between good people and evil people. And for liberal girls, a lot of them got sucked into that kind of mindset. And it happened on Tumblr in 2013. That was the transition point when certain ideas were developed. So that's when girls' mental health takes a tumble. If you graph out liberal boys and liberal girls and conservative boys and conservative girls, it's the liberal girls who really rise first and fastest on depression. And the conservative boys are not up that much. So everyone is worse off. But being conservative seems to root you. You're not as easily pushed into this crazy world. Being in a religious family seems to root you. And those two things seem to be protective.
Yeah, that sentimentality piece, which I talk about incessantly. If I feel it, it must be a good thing. It must be a true thing because I'm a good person. Oh, boy. And by the way, some of the reaction to this, including from a PhD in developmental and evolutionary psychopathology at University of Miami, J.D. Haltigan, people are looking at this more and more. He posted an abstract from a study that he was a part of looking at the need for empirical research investigation into the phenomenon that is related to the broader research and discourse examining social media influences on mental health, reacting to what you just heard Jonathan Haidt have to say, saying he is empirically correct. So that is a cultural phenomenon that we're up against. If you, and by the we, I mean talking about people who are interested in the preservation of human life from conception to natural death. I'm talking about people who are interested in a society that respects Western civilization by promoting the cardinal virtues that are at the foundation of it. That is what we're up against, in part, what Jonathan Haidt was just describing, and particularly when it comes to that respect for human life issue, since we're talking more about the distaff side when it comes to the impacts of and the environment, the ecosystem of social media that Haidt was referencing. For more discussion on this, we're pleased to be joined by Jeff Bradford. He is the CEO and president of Human Coalition. That's humancoalition.org. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. It's great to see you this morning.
Well, I mean, first, sort of give us the mission statement of Human Coalition, what you guys do, and, perhaps if you have any commentary on what Haidt was talking about and how you deal with that in the pursuit of your of achieving your mission statement, any additional insights you have.
Sure. Our mission statement is to end abortion in America. And our vision is to make abortion unthinkable and unnecessary in a world that believes that for a woman to flourish, you have to abort your child. And to your point, that is exacerbated by social media, that we are told that the child in the womb is not human, it's not alive, and can be discarded. And there's so much pressure on men and women to abort their children, to think that that's the only way that they can flourish. And abortion doesn't prevent hardship. It actually adds heartache and regret and pain, and it doesn't solve the problem. A woman walks into the abortion clinic and takes the life of their child and walks out with the same issues that are driving the reason that she believes abortion is her only option. And at Human Coalition, we're one of the largest pro-life, pro-woman organizations in the country, building a national rescue system. And 76% of the women who come to us and believe that abortion is their only option tell us that they would prefer to parent if their circumstances were different. And if you think about that, it not only breaks your heart, but it's also the lie that we've all been told, that women's empowerment is choosing to abort their child versus becoming a flourishing mom. And Human Coalition steps in that gap, and they're dealing with things like housing, education, employment, lack of child care assistance. Human Coalition comes in and helps provide those. We also work on the legislative side to help write and protect laws that save children and care for moms.
So the culture in which you're operating now, what Human Coalition is operating now, is it becoming more or less difficult? I mean, what Jonathan Haidt was talking about there with young women, obviously, young women is the target audience here when you're talking about childbearing and child rearing, for that matter. And so it seems like an argument can be made that the social media world in which we live now is making your job that much more challenging.
It is. Really, since the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the media was heightened and social media was heightened that women can't get care, can't get reproductive care, health care. And so the pressures on that actually have gotten worse over the last 5 years and much more difficult. And I'm reading Jonathan Haidt's Anxious Generation right now, which was really the generation that my wife and our children grew up in. And you see the anxieties and fears that are created through social media, trying to protect people, trying to protect them in a virtual world. And there's so much that comes on these young women and men, the pressures to abort, to look at other people's lives that they think are flourishing and believe the lies that the culture tells them.
And when you talk about the two approaches, or the two-pronged approach, advocacy and service. So take us through those. The advocacy, what do you mean by that?
Well, we work in about 20 of the top 40 abortion-dense markets, those where abortions are the greatest, and that represents almost 2/3 of all abortions. And so we're looking to expand our work into the other 20 markets so that we can reach more moms before they make that devastating decision of taking the life of their child. And so the National Rescue System, as we call it, really uses marketing to reach women who are searching for an abortion, that believe that the culture has told them that abortion is their only option, and so they're online searching. And so we use telecare, registered nurses, and social workers that meet those moms right where they're at and provide really the help and hope, the counseling, and not just that, but then beyond. As I mentioned, these moms don't want to actually abort their children deep down, but they believe because of their circumstances, they believe because of social media and the lies that we've all been told, that that's their best choice. And we come in and just meet them and help them with things like I mentioned, housing and education, employment. These are the deeper reasons why women believe that abortion and believe the lies of the culture. On the advocacy legislation side, we work in private-public partnerships with states, and in those markets where abortion again is and right here in Chicago, we have a telecare center in Chicago, saving lives right here in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for about 10 years, and so I have a heart for Chicago. We love being here. And so we work on legislation and advocacy that protects women and children from abortion and provides these kinds of services and cares in states across the country.
And what about collaboration with other pro-life organizations too? Because, people are always like similar organizations doing similar oriented organizations doing similar things. Are there opportunities to partnership? So, the value of my philanthropic dollar goes a little bit farther, for example.
Absolutely. I think Human Coalition is one of the most collaborative. It's in our name. We work with over 10,000 organizations that brings these kinds of services to bear, including pregnancy centers right here in Chicago. And if you think about it, and this may surprise a lot of people that are listening, but over 70% of all abortions in America are chemical abortions. Women right now are just able to order the abortion pill directly to their home. And so if we're not online immediately through our telecare system to reach those women, to bring them into that counseling session, they'll never go into a brick and mortar. And so we help those brick and mortar pregnancy centers all over the country reach that mom who's online Googling to abort their child and bring them, and then partner with pregnancy centers, as well as over 10,000 other organizations across the country. Abortion can't be resolved by one person, one organization. We must all work together, and there's plenty of work to be done.
Jeff Bradford is the CEO of Human Coalition. A gift of $130 will help reach 5 pregnant women seeking an abortion choose life for their babies. It's exactly what Jeff was just referencing. We're partnering with Human Coalition in this vein here at AM 560. And to give a gift of $130 to help reach 5 pregnant women who are seeking an abortion choose life instead, go to 560theanswer.com/human. That's 560theanswer.com/human. Jeff Bradford, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that they are making it through. They want to thank you for your continued support by extending their wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows for only $14.98. It gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more, or multi-use pillows for only $9.98. Get body pillows for $29.98 with a free pillowcase. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98. Kings only $1 more. That's 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. Order $100 or more and your order ships absolutely free. We know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they are extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026.
Dan Proft here to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business and to make a difference this Christmas season. I'm talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide life-saving food and water for thousands of children and their families in Latin America and the Caribbean. Your business can be a part of this effort. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. That donation will help more than 30 children for an entire year. And when you do that, AM 560 will give you 40 one-minute commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you. To take advantage of this deal, just call John Gallagher at 847-472-8950. Again, that's 847-472-8950. One more time, the number, 847-472-8950. Or go to 560theanswer.com/food for the poor. That website again, 560theanswer.com/food for the poor. Imagine spending your holiday season with family, not IT headaches from work. With managed IT help desk services from Access One, you get 24/7 expert support, an IT team that never takes time off for roughly the same cost or less than a single IT person. Access One's IT help desk is a local center here in Chicago, ready to help 365 days a year, so you have less IT downtime and no IT staffing issues. You deserve to enjoy your holiday season with family, eating home-cooked meals, not getting interrupted with IT issues. Access One can give you the peace of mind during the holidays and beyond. It's a gift to yourself and your company. To speak with an Access One agent, call 800-654-1555 and tell them AM 560 sent you. Access One is now offering a 90-day risk-free trial so you can discover how they fix IT for good. Learn more at accessoneInc.com/guarantee or call the number 800-654-1555. IT support tickets piling up? Not anymore. Hand off your help desk to Access One. That website again, Access One, spell out the number, O-N-E, accessoneInc.com/guarantee.
As the seasons change, so does the worry. The flu, cold, and COVID season is coming, making a lot of people feel anxious. But what if you don't have to feel that way? My name is Dr. Michael Huber, one of the developers of Virago, the liquid immune enhancement cocktail. Virago was formulated in a liquid to enhance absorption and provide a rapid response. Comprised of 23 natural ingredients chosen for their synergistic properties, it gives your immune system the boost it needs to fight whatever virus is out there. So with the Virago Boost, you can face the coming flu season feeling confident that you are protected. With Virago, you're not fighting the seasons, you're ready for them. Virago, power to defend. Maha starts with Virago.
Order your bottle of Virago online today. Visit myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. That's myvirago.com. Coupon code IMMUNE. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Well, that was a surprise. The HVAC tech just said our furnace apparently has a cracked heat exchanger, and it'll cost thousands.
Oh, you're kidding. He barely looked at it. Now he's pushing a huge repair? What should we do?
I don't really trust them. We need a second opinion. My brother Mark recommended Air Right Heating and Cooling. I looked them up and they seem legit. Great Google reviews. I'm sure they'd give us an honest assessment. He liked that they checked their carbon monoxide readings so he knows the air they're breathing is safe. And I guess it also gave a sense of how much life was left in their furnace.
I'd love that peace of mind. Plus, why spend a fortune on something we might not even need?
Get a second opinion from Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and get $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling right now at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Let me take a moment to talk about my friends at QC Kinetics. They're helping so many listeners regain their mobility free from joint pain. Does this sound like you? Where every time you move, it's a reminder of what hurts? A reminder of how far you drifted from the life you once had? Well, relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from surgery. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli and her team tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain at its source. Stop masking the pain. Let QC Kinetics help you regain what pain took away. And with Veterans Day just recently passed, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans get $500 off their treatment. And for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. Makes it a great time to book your free consultation to learn how QC Kinetics can help. Call 312-827-6261. Again, that's 312-827-6261. 6261. One more time, the number, so you don't forget it. 312-827-6261. And tell them I sent you when you call.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, you got to hear this. The new Miss World is Miss Chile, and her name is Ignacia Fernandez. And this apparently was her offering in the talent competition. Oh, wait for it. That's her. Okay, I think you get her Tom Araya impersonation for you Slayer fans out there. Well, wow. You know, you expect like a rendition of Nessun Dorma or something, but death metal, your new Miss World, or Miss Underworld, maybe appropriately, more appropriately. Coming up at 8:38. We'll talk about the Epstein Files discharge petition and other lawfare-related matters with Will Chamberlain from the Article 3 Project. That's 8:38. Now we check the headlines.
Good morning. It is 44 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Stace Keene in the AM 560 newsroom. Several major websites were disrupted for several hours yesterday following an outage of Chicago-based Cloudflare. Websites such as X and League of Legends posted error 500 messages when users navigated to the sites. Officials with Cloudflare say that they noticed a spike in unusual site traffic just before 5:30 yesterday morning, which caused the company's network errors. Cloudflare had experienced an outage back in June, which resulted in outages at Google, Spotify, and OpenAI. The Illinois House has voted to reprimand Representative Jesus Chuy Garcia for failing to announce his intent to not seek re-election until the 11th hour. That's a move that could be construed as clearing a pathway for his chief of staff to run unopposed for the Democratic nomination. Representative Garcia said that decision came following discussions with his cardiologist and wife and had nothing to do with his chief of staff. This news is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you can save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. A check of the roads is coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago on December 26th on their The Ghost of Christmas Eve 2025 tour. Enter to win tickets and the grand prize of a 75-inch TV, a home stereo system, and a $1,000 gift card. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/TSO.
The biggest time of the year for stores is during the Christmas season. And if you deal in collector coins, the main source for inventory is from people like you. We want to have our showcases fully stocked before Christmas. Last Christmas, gold was the highest ever recorded in its 5,000-year run. We don't always know if precious metals will go up or down. We're saying that if you don't appreciate that collection Grandpa left, you may want to at least find out what you can get for it. Fox Valley Coins is the trusted place where people come to buy and sell their precious metals, rare coins, and paper money. We're especially interested in purchasing now through the first week of December. And we'll still be buying after we get back from the Christmas break, but we need to purchase now. Fox Valley Coins is located one light north of I-88 on Route 59 on the Naperville-Warrenville border. We'll be closed Christmas Eve through Monday, January 4th, celebrating Jesus' birth with family and for year-end inventory. Merry Christmas from Fox Valley Coins. Family-owned integrity since 1981. FoxValleyCoins.com.
Sean Thompson here, and I'm with attorney Bert Hochberg from the law firm of Schiller, Ducanto, and Fleck. We're talking about divorce arbitration. This is not really a new, or is it a new, innovative way to go through divorce?
Arbitration has been around for decades. It's completely legit and available to resolve divorce cases. The litigants and their lawyers sign an arbitration agreement. They identify what the issues are, and we set up dates, and we determine what experts and witnesses there may be. Arbitration is a hearing, a trial that is intended to finish a case efficiently with limited appeal, with a binding decision, and it's confidential, so it has some great characteristics.
I think it's a unique alternative to divorce. For more information, please visit sdflaw.com and type Bert Hochberg into the search box. That's sdflaw.com or call direct 773-255-6150.
Hi, guys. This is the Rocket Roger Clemens. You don't pitch in the majors for 24 years without feeling it later. Shoulders, elbows, knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do.
That's baseball legend Roger Clemens.
I tried the ice. I tried rest, PT. Nothing really worked. When I heard about QC Kinetics, the concept sounded promising. Non-surgical regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself without surgery. Sign me up. Just what I needed. Real lasting relief.
Whether you're a former pro, a weekend golfer, or just want to walk around pain-free again, QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge technology and natural biologics to help restore and repair damaged tissue.
I trusted them with my joints. Now I'm back doing what I love.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Taking a look at the roads from the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, I'm Sue Aller. Still jammed in the local lanes of the Dan Ryan inbound, but a crash cleared at Roosevelt Road. So from 95th to the Byrne interchange, it's 49 minutes. Outbound is 14, and the express lanes slow down. Inbound from Garfield Boulevard to the Stevenson. Inbound Stevenson from the Tri-State to Lakeshore is 64 minutes. Outbound is 31. You're jammed on the Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Byrne interchange, 70 minutes. Outbound is 53. 8094 eastbound. 2 lanes are down at Torrance Avenue with a flipped over semi-truck. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Big savings on full mouth dental implants are here. At AlmostFreeTeeth.com, medical insurance can make what used to cost a fortune surprisingly affordable. Don't wait. Take the 60-second quiz to see if you qualify at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, but now a check of your forecast from the National Weather Service.
Today will be cloudy with a high of 46. Tonight, expect areas of low clouds with a low of 41. Tomorrow will bring a thick cloud cover with a high of 54. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 50. Saturday will feature a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 52. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. I don't think this Epstein Files gambit is going to work out as well for the Democrat Socialists as they had hoped. And we've seen this playing out just over the last couple of days, even as the discharge petition quickly moved through Congress yesterday and is on its way to the president's desk, where he's going to sign it, and everything will be released, ostensibly with appropriate redactions. And hopefully we'll get some sort of public-facing Q&A with Bondi and Patel to provide some context and explanation and status on what, if anything, is still pending with respect to Epstein and company. But in terms of it not going as well as they anticipated, now that they have called the president's bluff long enough for him to reverse course as he has, Klingon Collins over at CNN pressured Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, who I think has a relatively short shelf life. I mean, obviously he would be deposed if Democrat Socialists didn't take the House next year. I don't know. He may be deposed anyway because he's so weak and he's so bad at the communications part of the job. Here's an example. The issue that we talked about earlier in the week, Stacey Plaskett, the delegate from the Virgin Islands who was texting in real time with Jeffrey Epstein, trying to formulate questions for Michael Cohen in a 2019 congressional committee hearing where Cohen was giving testimony. And she's asked, Plaskett is asking Epstein who to ask Cohen about, and so forth. So all these things, Larry Summers stepping back from his public responsibilities because of the disclosure of his running communications with Epstein. So this registered sex offender and sex trafficker, bad dude, and yet the Dem socialists that are moralizing about him today were in bed with him, pun intended, not so long ago. Hakeem Jeffries won't respond to the issue of whether or not it was appropriate for Plaskett to be talking to Epstein. Bad look? He can't say.
Well, Stacey Plaskett is not accused of violating any House rule, any law, any statute, and she's clearly and unequivocally denounced Jeffrey Epstein. And I think what the survivors fought for today is the type of transparency that came out of the House, went through the Senate, and is now on its way to Donald Trump's desk, where hopefully he'll sign it into law, because at the end of the day, all the American people are asking for is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which is why these Epstein files that Donald Trump and his administration has been hiding for months need to be released.
But do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue because we've been focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis, was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
Censure resolution, but that's not really the point. The point is, wait, so let me understand something. If something is not illegal, that's your standard of whether it's appropriate or not? Illegal and appropriate, legal and appropriate are not synonyms. And you have to talk to her to determine whether or not her conduct, which is well established, is appropriate. What are you going to talk about? And obviously you're not going to talk to her because you don't want to say, I have talked to her. I mean, and that's not it with Hakeem Jeffries. Jim Comer took to the House floor to offer some additional context on Hakeem Jeffries and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein going back a bit.
Colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch. The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that, I yield back.
Mr. Speaker, Right. So I can understand why Hakeem Jeffries won't break bad on Stacey Plaskett, because then she could break bad right back on him. It may be not going as well as they had hoped. For more on this and other legal matters, Will Chamberlain joins us, senior counsel at the Article 3 Project. Will, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Oh, always good to be with you.
And so the forthcoming release of whatever is left to release, what's your perspective on that? And the other piece, too, which I've sort of been calling for months after everybody got settled in the Trump administration, which is rather than that memo saying this is, the sum total of our view on the Epstein files matter and that's it, we're moving on. Probably better to do a AG and perhaps FBI director press conference where you have a back and forth with the press, let people ask their questions, provide answers to the best of your knowledge for questions you can answer. And then you've sort of brought everybody along with what you know to be true based on actually being in power and having the opportunity to review what exists.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better way to handle it from DOJ's perspective. I think that the end result of this is going to be not really. I suspect it's not going to be this, the reveal of some new perpetrator of sex crimes or something. Because I think that if those people existed, they would have been fingered in the last 20 years. This isn't a new case. This is a process. The prosecution of Epstein started in 2007. The man died in 2019. There was litigation all through the 2010s by women against the Epstein estate, not against Epstein himself, and then finally against the Epstein estate. So you have a circumstance where if the information was there, I think we would have found it already. What I think you're going to see is a lot of these kind of continued embarrassing reveals where it's not that the people committed sex crimes or anything, but it's rather that they were perfectly happy to talk to Jeffrey Epstein and correspond with him regularly, even though he was a convicted sex offender. And that's, I think, what you've seen with Larry Summers, we see with Stacey Plaskett. I suspect that the files will reveal more of that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That they're and especially too with the political performances they're giving, but you weren't so offended by Jeffrey Epstein when you were soliciting funds or soliciting questions, right? What about Jim Comer, though? I mean, so on the other side, he wants documents from the Virgin Islands related to Epstein or Maxwell. He's issuing subpoenas in the direction of J.P. Morgan, Deutsche Bank, and so forth. Is this also, do you think, more or less a fishing expedition?
No, I mean, clearly not. And I think that this is how we got that information. I think we got the Plaskett information and we got the Larry Summers correspondence. We got all that email correspondence because of subpoena that James Comer issued, and he was able to obtain all these emails. So I think that, that's not a fishing expedition. That's newsworthy. It's newsworthy whether prominent people were corresponding with Jeffrey Epstein when they damn well should have known better.
On another matter, the redistricting, this has sort of receded into the background, these sort of state-by-state fights that are going on as, California responds to Texas and so forth. Florida responds to California. Indiana is beset amongst itself, among its Republicans, and it doesn't seem like Braun is the governor there, former senator, is getting very high marks for managing this. Marlon Stutzman, who's a member of Congress from the Republican delegation there in Indiana, had this to say about the Indiana State Senate, supermajority controlled by Republicans, deciding not to move forward with redistricting despite the push from the Trump administration.
And now we have Senate leadership in Indiana. In the state Senate, when we have a supermajority Republicans decide they're not going to redistrict today. You know what? Shame on these guys for not standing up and fighting for conservatives in our state and for our country. And so I think it's that same sort of mentality that we see in the U.S. Senate and in the House of Representatives. We've got to stick together. We've got such a strong leader. We have such an opportunity to turn this country around.
With respect to redistricting, I know with the pending Louisiana case that the Supreme Court is taking up, but I mean, this is a situation where you would be foolish to unilaterally disarm in a red state, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, California just passed a bill that literally amended their constitution to enable one of the most egregious gerrymanders I've ever seen. I'm from California originally, and if you look at what they're doing to some of these districts, it's truly absurd. I mean, you're talking about there's a district that goes all the way from the northern tip of the peninsula of the Bay Area. So that's Sausalito, and I forget what the other name of the town is, but there's a slew of, very, very pretty, very wealthy towns that are right on the, right just north of San Francisco, right across the Golden Gate Bridge. And you're taking those and combining them with small rural towns 5 hours north of a place called Wairika, which if you ever driven the 5 north from California into Oregon, that's the town up there. That is not liberal country. That's conservative country. It goes in that district from Sausalito on the northern tip of the Bay Area, extends all the way to the northeastern corner of the state. It might take 10 hours to drive it. And that's a congressional district, a truly ridiculous gerrymander. And so Indiana's not willing to just do a really straightforward redistricting that, ensures that in a state where Republicans win by 20, that Democrats don't get any seats. Democrats don't do stuff like that. Where's the Republican seat in Massachusetts? It isn't there. There's not a single Republican in New England based on similar vote proportions.
Yeah, it is frustrating, and what the basis of this is. It's just that these Indiana senators, Republican senators, they're in safe seats, don't want their seats to become any less safe to try to gain. Indiana senators, Congress don't want to redraw the lines. The people that are in charge, want their little fiefdom protected, and they don't want to endanger that in any way, reduce the margins they enjoy in any way to try to pursue additional compatriots, and it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I think so, and I think they need to suck it up because we need to not lose. We need to fight to win the House as much as possible. This is not, we can't. Democrats have clearly, they're extraordinarily aggressive on gerrymandering. They've been extraordinarily aggressive. It's time for Republicans to find their backbone and make sure that we don't lose political power at the federal level.
Speaking of interesting developments at the state level, I wanted to get your take on the executive order that Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued that designated the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, as foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organizations, plural, that bans them from buying or acquiring land in Texas and authorizes the Attorney General to sue to shut them down in the state of Texas. Is that something that you think passes constitutional muster? And number one, and number two, should also be taken up and replicated in other states?
I mean, it'll really depend on what evidence they have. I think it's pretty well reported that CAIR is a project of the Muslim Brotherhood, and that's how it was founded, and that there's a lot of deep internal ties there. And if that's true, then yeah, the Muslim Brotherhood is absolutely a foreign terrorist organization. So any ties there should make CAIR ineligible to purchase property in Texas. I think that's perfectly fine.
And speaking of terrorist organizations, what did you make of these comments from Trump the other day on striking at the cartels inside Mexico or Colombia? Take a listen.
Are you planning on also potentially launching strikes in Mexico or putting American troops or American personnel into Mexico to deal with?
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. I've been speaking to Mexico. They know how I stand. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs. So now we've stopped the waterways, but we know every route. We know every route. We know the addresses of every drug lord. We know their address. We know their front door. We know everything about every one of them. They're killing our people. That's like a war. Would I do it? I'd be proud to. I'd probably go into Congress and say, hey, and you know what? The Democrats and the Republicans would both agree, unless they're crazy. Exactly how they get their things here, how they get the drugs here, fentanyl, cocaine. Colombia has cocaine factories where they make cocaine. Would I knock out those factories? I would be proud to do it personally. I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because we're going to save millions of lives by doing it.
What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the big question is managing our relationship with Mexico, because that's obviously a violation of Mexican sovereignty. That said, the Mexican government's done a really terrible job at handling the drug cartels, and especially under the new sort of left-wing president, seems to just not care about this at all. Is perfectly happy to see Americans die from fentanyl trafficked from their country. So I don't know. I think that President Trump is right to basically say, like, I don't care. I mean, this needs to happen one way or the other, and to put a lot of pressure on the Mexican government to get its act together.
Yeah, and I think even just intimating that he would go to Congress, and then if he formally did, first of all, I think that's probably a good move. Number one. Number two is that move is certainly going to get the attention of those two Marxists and that are the heads of state of Mexico and Colombia.
Yeah, no, they need to wake up. Like especially the head of state of Colombia. I mean, basically, I think he was on television in an interview saying that Trump needed to be killed.
Basically, yes.
Somehow,
yeah, Petro.
In a vague sense, Trump just needed to be gone. Like, will no one rid me of this troublesome cleric? That kind of talk,
right. Yes, exactly.
So that's the president of Colombia, who seems also like a drug addict himself when he talks in public. So I think that both, somebody needs to focus their minds need to be focused on the actual problem here. They can be as mad at America as they want, but as long as they're not doing anything and using their sovereignty to stop drugs from coming into our country, we're going to have serious problems, and it's going to be really, really damage our relationships and put us on a collision course to potentially even violate their sovereignty if they won't do it, because we're not going to sit here and tolerate so many of our citizens dying from these drugs.
Will Chamberlain, Senior Counsel at the Article 3 Project. Will, thanks for joining us as always.
Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Business owners, now's the time for your business to make the move to a locally owned business bank. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that you don't have to look far. Signature Bank was founded in Chicago with a simple mission: to help companies like yours grow, succeed, and thrive. Their decisions are made locally by a terrific team that knows your name, cares about your business, and invests in your success. That's why Signature Bank is my bank. I'm a customer. As business owners, they knew that local family-owned businesses were not getting the help they needed or deserved. So I invite you to reach out to my friends at Signature Bank today. Write the number down. Remember this phone number, Signature Bank, 773-467-5630, and learn all about this great bank, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Your local State Farm agent, Anthony DeGrotto, combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. You can combine your home, auto, and life insurance to not only save you money, but give you the peace of mind you've been looking for. Anthony DeGrotto is your go-to agent in Chicagoland. He and his team will work for you to provide the best service you expect at the price you want. Combine your home, auto, and life insurance today. Anthony DeGrotto will help you mix and match things perfectly. His State Farm office is a top pick 2024 Daily Herald Reader's Choice Award winner. He's a proud supporter of Tunnel to Towers and like-minded as you. His State Farm agency is currently looking to add members at their Roselle office. Call Anthony at 847-895-1500 today or visit DeGrottoSF.com. That's DeGrottoSF.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
AM 560, The Answer.
Thanks for joining us on another edition of Chicago's Morning Answer. Our time has unfortunately come to the end, but we will be back tomorrow with more. Stay tuned for the headlines at 9 o'clock, as it is now 9 o'clock on AM 560 WIND Chicago.
It's already been unanimously approved in the Senate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. So this morning, when the resolution the House also passed arrives, compelling the Justice Department to release all the files from the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation, senators will send it to President Trump, who used to oppose this push as a Democrat hoax and urged Republicans to support it.
If there's a list of people who were